Hey, Mike? Yeah. We'll be up there trying to make all that back.
It ain't happening.
Regular session of the Greenwich Township Committee, February 20th, 2014. Members present: Bailey's,
Yes.
Miliani,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Florrie,
Here.
Coriello.
Yes.
All rise for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act by mailing the schedule of the Township Committee to the Express Times and North Star Electric newspaper, posting a copy on the Township Bulletin Board, and filing a copy with the Township Clerk.
Can I have a motion to adopt minutes of February 6, 2014?
I think there's some corrections we need.
Okay.
I have one.
Sorry,
Anybody
Kim.
want to send me these prior?
I only read it like,
I picked up on one. It was pretty quick.
on page 2,
Okay.
Frank Tadeo has now become a committeeman.
Cool.
Nice.
Sorry about that salary cut.
Where do you see that?
Here. It's Mayor Joseph, Deputy, Committee Woman Amelia, and Committeeman Adams, Committee Township Front.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I have a... Are you done, Elaine?
I think that in the comments, if I recall, page 3, the information about the Jackson Road was not only tasked with Mike, it was also tasked with the Chief of Police to review for both speed and the best place location for the signage.
That's correct.
Okay, that doesn't say the chief in here.
Actually, also, I'm looking at my notes.
Okay,
I was supposed to meet with John Howe from a signage perspective.
to understand how
Just
many,
for
yeah.
starters, to see what was
available,
available,
right.
what he would have to order, and then I was gonna get with the chief.
So it should say,
Okay,
the
so-
time and placement, the type and placement.
Type and placement. Yeah, so the type, look, we would both type.
Okay, page 6, I'm sorry, Jim. Page 6, the resolution 2014-29, the bid specifications were to be done by engineer Joe Pryor. I don't see that in this, and forgive me, but I may have missed saying that, but the resolution was clearly for Joe Pryor, the engineer, to create the bid specs, preparation of, and advertisement of. I think I'm done now.
Page 7, I just noticed that Joe's been duplicated. We have Mayor Torriello and Committeeman Torriello. Top of page 7.
Double dipping.
Oh, on the motion.
Yes, he was double dipping, so I want to call him out on it. I don't know who actually did it. This was for Tom Kinase to work with the farmers regarding the farmers.
I bet you that was Tom that seconded.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I think part of my house.
Almost under.
Anything else?
I'll make a motion as amended.
I'll second.
Any other comment? Roll call.
Bailey's,
Well, I wasn't there, so
Are you sure you abstain?
abstain.
Adams,
Yes.
Coriello,
Yes, as amended.
Miliani.
Yes, as amended.
Yes, as a
We have payment of bills and claims on the agenda, but I don't have any list in front of me.
It's in your packet.
It is.
Right after the-
700 some.
That knows who the bills are presented on Saturday.
So we signed
Okay.
all these
Present, right?
purchase
This is what we did on Saturday?
Yeah, that's everything.
Okay, all right. Can I have a motion to pay bills and claims in the amount of $789,677.55?
Can you make those things amended, please? To reflect the additional payment to Priority Design?
Oh, yes, so That's going to be 789, 677, 55. 799, 27, 55. Can I have a motion to pay for the payment of bills and claims in the amended amount of $790,927.55?
I'll make the motion.
Second, but I have a question. Lorraine, when you read through these checks, and they're outlined for us here, are the checks actually reflective of these amounts that are outlined here on this list? They're not, they don't change in any way. These are the checks that go out in these numbers.
Right, for this dollar
No,
amount.
the individual ones. Are checks going out as the purchase order is called for? Does that make sense? Purchase order says $10. Is a check going out to that vendor for $10, or is it somehow different, but it comes to the same amount of money at the end?
The only difference would be if, say there's two purchase orders on here for 6 fuel. If one's for $10 and another one is $15, the system will cut a check for $25 if both of them are approved.
Okay, because we are going to have to look at that process, because the release of a PO may in fact change that. If we're releasing POs and purchases are, if we're getting to the point where requisition, release, PO generates the check. Each PO would generate a check, so we need to talk about that process a little bit more, but that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can
Does that
take that
make sense?
offline.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
it's, from a
offline.
vendor perspective,
I'm just
I understand
asking the
what you're saying.
question as we're going forward, because of a
Yeah.
question I had from last month on a bill pay that, I'll talk to you about it.
And I had a question as well. When we approve the bill list, both, right, according to our flow chart here, that gives you authorization to pay or cut the checks. How soon after the township meeting, for example, like today, right? So we're here Thursday night. When do those checks go out?
My next workday
Monday, okay, so end of day Monday, all of those checks have been gone, or would be gone.
as long as everything is fully executed. I print checks Monday morning, have to send them out Monday afternoon.
Except at the snowstorm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Question?
Go ahead. Yeah, go.
no, we,
She didn't call your name yet, but good.
Yeah, before we
Yeah.
go on.
yes.
Miliani.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a motion.
Adams.
Yes.
Florence.
Yes.
Torriello.
Yes. And now,
I have one thing to add in the bill pay
oh,
process.
go ahead.
In accordance with the new process and flow chart, I have two items from recreation that are more than the $1,000 threshold that I would like to bring to the attention of the Township Committee. The first is a bill in the amount of $3,870, and it is for infield mix of dirt for the Beatty's Field and the school field at Greenwich Elementary School. Greenwich Elementary School is in the amount of $1,620, and the Beatty Field's $2,250. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. As the liaison, approve it. I'm in agreement with it, but this is the maintenance of the fields.
My only question is one of timing as to why now in the midst of the storm, and why, I mean, I understand you need time and
From what I understand, it takes a while to get this dirt
Is it
procured,
special?
and it has to get dropped, and then we have to figure out how we're going to do it.
Well, and then my next question would be, is the DPW involved in this, and they know that these mixes are the proper ones, and they're going to be the ones that are dropping it, and they're going to be the ones maintaining the field? There's no, like...
I spoke to President Mark
Great.
Hellman, who said that he is in contact with DPW,
Great.
and that it is a normal relationship that they do that. So I spoke to Jim today as well. So,
Beam Clay of Kelsey Park, Great Meadows, New Jersey. Beam Clay of
Great Meadows.
So do we add this to the bottom of this bill pay list?
No,
It's just a requisition.
Oh, okay.
So really,
I'm supposed to bring that outside of
Right,
this,
yes, the
outside
flower
of this
chart.
total that you guys got. I want to make sure that
I
I'm
mean,
flagging what
we're
I'm
right
supposed
here,
to
it's not
flag.
even on the request list.
Right.
Because he's doing his job as liaison.
flagging.
Excellent.
Right.
Yeah.
So do we have to make a motion there or no?
And
Well,
I just want to, can I
Yeah.
steal
Sure,
some thunder?
I have some.
I'm sorry. No, I just want to point out the fact that, this was the first meeting in which we have the pink slips, which represent recreation and part of the bill pay process. And, we're up
Need to
here
change the color.
as a committee writing the ship, but it's the employees, it's the Sherrys, it's the Lorraines. and-
It's the John
Thank you,
House.
Sherry.
It's the John House,
It's,
yeah.
it's all of those folks sailing that ship. We can only do a certain part, but it's dependent upon others. So I wanted to just bring that out, and I think it is. So, this is nice, and we would see the $3,000 dirt charge
Right.
show up on a requisition at the next meeting, I'm assuming, or
Right.
whatever.
Yes, should. And then that's the other question is, do we...
Paid by them.
No, it's gonna, no, in other words, now this is, the requisition is approved.
Now the PLJ
And then
is
it'll appear.
understood.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
so-
Second one is for new bases that haven't been replaced in years, that are curling up and are becoming a safety hazard for kids sliding into home plate, or whatever it is, but it's in the amount of $1,429.45 for beam clay of Great Meadows. And
Does this go through several quotes?
it is...
Yeah, they do it at the commission level.
Yep.
Yep.
These have already been approved by 2 officers of REC who have been reviewed and gone through the policy.
Excellent.
So
We like the rec procedure.
that's out there, so
All right,
Jimmy-
so do
Jimmy
we
did a
want
good
to give
job.
them a
it's not a
motion?
shock
or-
when you see it next week.
Well, we won't see it next week.
2 weeks.
We won't see it.
Oh, right, we won't
That's
see
right.
it.
That's
We
right.
won't
We
see
won't
it.
see it.
Right, that's true.
So, tell me your recommendations. We're going to sign,
I'm
they're
signing.
signing off on the recommendations,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
He's paying it out of his pocket.
And then the purchase order.
Right.
So
That's
is that,
it.
wait, I got a question. So then, I'm sorry, so then it never makes the purchase order list to generate a check? It just goes right up there?
We will see it, but it may be post-check going up.
Okay, all
Right,
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 that's what
Right,
I'm
we're not
saying.
approving it, right,
That's what I'm saying.
right.
Yeah, yes, but
Been
it
pink
will
listed.
get on that other list,
Change my
yes.
color.
Okay, I'm sorry. Jim made that color, I
I
take
chose it
no,
specifically for
I
Tom.
take no responsibility.
Okay, so we're concluded with that additional item?
Yes.
Can I have, well, before we do the monthly reports, Michael, are you ready tonight to?
Really?
Yeah,
Sure. Want me to leave off tonight?
go for it.
Jim said.
All right, I sent out my report a few days ago and also handed out a few things tonight, which I will explain. First, to my report, just a couple miscellaneous update items. Well, one, wastewater management plan.
That's okay, he could, we'll just let him do both, that's fine.
We had you down for the health officer.
Oh, well, I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah.
Where, on the agenda?
Yeah,
Where's that?
Right under.
Oh. You want to do it in order?
no, do them both, it's fine,
Okay.
it's fine.
I'll carry on.
Yeah.
Lost a little momentum there, but I'll regain. Wastewater management plan. If you recall, I've been talking about a grant, it's a DEP grant called the 604B grant, and there was a question of whether it would be applicable or not, or we could use it as a mechanism to fund our eventual continuation of the development and hopefully finalization and approval of our wastewater management plan. It was just recently confirmed that the DEP had agreed to use the monies and the program to fund wastewater management plan. At the meeting 2 weeks ago, we talked about this. That's the first time I actually relayed that definitively. You guys gave me a go-ahead. You had previously actually given me a go-ahead to prepare the grant, but then
By way of resolution.
yeah, by way of resolution, but then the potential for the grant not being worthwhile to pursue came up, so we didn't do anything. Anyway, with the late breaking news and so forth, and the due date, more importantly, being tomorrow for the grant application, we forged ahead and put the application together. I spoke with Elaine a few times today, and I dropped that's a hard copy of what was emailed and overnight mailed down to the DEP. Well, emailed today, overnight mailed today as well. The grant amount, as you can see, is $35,000. It's Gene Weber from our office has really been doing a good job with this. He put it together primarily. You can look at towards the back. There's quite a list of tasks and associated charges. It equated to a total of $35,530. So,
In addition to that, though, we had Brent Carney, our store counsel, review the wording to make sure that it was not inconsistent with our plans.
If you go to page 1 of the proposal, section 3, the scope of work, there's a nice little history. That's what Elaine specifically referred to. That was a little complex, for lack of a better term, in the case of Greenwich with our win. So, but Gene drafted it, I edited it, and then Elaine and Brent have looked at it, so it's out. It's all. So now we sit back and wait and hopefully cross our fingers and get awarded some money. Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Sure.
Happy to be on the phone with you for several hours today.
Yeah. All right. A lot of other items in my engineer's report we talked about, we're waiting for future action. All right. I don't know if there's any need for me to comment on any of the other numerous items in my engineer's report, with the exception of a couple other things. At the meeting 2 weeks ago, Mr. Adams primarily asked me to look into solar panels on utility poles and the potential use in Greenwich. I'm just going to give you a kind of a quickie, verbal, very concise summary of what we found. We unfortunately didn't talk to the guy I really wanted to talk to, who was Stan Prater from JCP&L. That's the guy I needed to talk to. He's our contact, our liaison. We went back and forth and never connected. What we found is that a lot of towns have utilized these, and they're very popular. And they clearly represent a cost savings to the township in the way of electric.
I hear a but.
There's a but.
I know, I can hear it.
But most of the literature we saw, and again, I really wanted to talk to Stan because I think he could educate me a little bit, and then I could obviously pass that along to you, which I will at future meetings. The solar panels that we see, there's the singular solar panel that are used to power street lights and, lighting of that nature, traffic signals in some cases. We're not talking about lighting up parking lots and large-scale stuff. They are primarily most effective and efficient with LED lighting.
Oh.
Which none of the fixtures we have, I don't think there's one in a whole town that's LED, street lighting. So, that raises an issue of compatibility with the existing fixtures. The panels clearly are not as effective and don't last as long and are much less efficient when used with a fixture other than an LED light. And what we also found was that if you're looking to go this route, and clearly there's a larger upfront cost, but there is definitely a cost savings. There's no getting around it. You can do economic analysis 10 years, 15 years, you could be ahead of the game. But there's a pretty significant outlay of money up front, and most of the systems we saw were either the panel and the light together, or the whole schmagegi, the pole, the panel, and the light. Now, we're not changing poles out. Let's not even go there. That's not even a thought. So, I can get back to you with maybe some more concrete info and numbers and so forth, and not to make this into, the project from down under. But it's, of course, like everything, a little more complicated than you might think, and the savings and the eventual return to the township, I think, is going to be many years down the road. Not to say that it's not a good idea.
Does JCP&L have any programs where, do they have a vested interest in seeing a swap out of the traditional lighting for LED because it represents less of a tax on their resources as well? Do they have any grants or programs where they will roll out X number per year? In other words, could we start in terms of phasing before we even get to the solar, to start switching to LED lighting over a 5-7 year period or whatever, working with JCP&L? They would have an interest in that. I mean, it would be less...
You would think, and I don't know if I would have phrased that question to Stan exactly like that, but I had a bunch of stuff I was going to ask him. So when I do speak, and I'm sure, I'll probably talk to him tomorrow, actually. He's pretty good about calling me back. Just unfortunately it didn't happen before tonight's meeting. So, we'll find out. And, Jim, any other, I mean,
I
this
think
was kind of your baby, so.
No, I think you need to touch base with Stan and give us some options and, see if it's worth it.
Potential programs and-
Joe's concept with the LEDs and phasing that in, it's perfect. It fits right in with it. It's a whole holistic plan.
Yeah, it was, I found Tucson, Arizona has really put together a very aggressive solar lighting program. I think you can understand that in Arizona, they get a lot of sunlight.
A little more than us.
Yeah, well, a little more, you think. And the numbers that they threw out, again, it's Tucson, Arizona, as compared to Stewartsville, New Jersey. But it was pretty staggering.
Look, quite honestly, if we can get a partnership where we can swap out for the LED, even without the solar, just by them providing a more efficient lighting, we're going to save money,
And a
better lighting,
right.
without even getting into the solar
Yeah,
cost.
so-
And we could do it on their dime.
Let's see what, I mean, you would think that they would have something like that, but I don't know.
Or maybe he can help us with where we can go.
Yeah,
I'm sure he used it. He's heard of somebody else using it, yeah.
So,
Okay, great.
There's your solar lighting update for
Thanks.
this month. And that's really it.
I have one question. Signage on Lindy.
Okay, I spoke with the county, as I explained last month, or...
Couple weeks ago.
And they basically said, well, Mike, we put some stuff... We had voiced this complaint a year or two ago, whatever it might have been.
3 years ago, when I first joined, Elaine raised this issue.
And they reacted and did put some signage up there that's out there, which is really...
Insufficient.
That's a good word. That's a nice word.
See, I could be polite.
You could use a stronger word, but that works.
Yeah.
Basically, he said to me, he being Bart Johnson, the assistant county engineer, who handles signage, traffic, more so than Bill, he's like, well, Mike, tell us what you want us to do, what signage you'd like, and we'll get back to you, let you know, A, if we'll consider it, B, if we'll install it, C, if we'll pay for it, blah, blah, blah. So,
I like all of those.
okay, so I have not given him any sort of plan yet. I really think I want to go, as much as I know that area, just from driving past it 1,000 times, I think I want to go and really look and kind of spot some signage and come up with some some good
We
verbiage.
should call it Lindy Way. so that
Well,
people know.
I think we even need to do more than that, because that's even, I think too soft of a message. When you're on Greenwich Street in both directions, I think a sign needs to say, no outlet, private.
Exactly.
It has to actually, private drive,
No truck traffic.
right, no
That's-
thoroughfare.
No through, dead end, something.
Especially for the trucks coming off of 22, making a right on a Greenwich Street, that are headed to Home Depot ShopRite.
Right.
That's the problem movement, as I've heard.
It is, and I've seen the 18-wheel, and then when they get in, they can't get out.
And you know what? If it's the first time you're there, because you see Home Depot ShopRite in the background, you see a traffic light.
So you think there's going to be some sort
I don't
of,
blame any drivers for that, unless you do it the second time. But there's also got to be a sign, and I think there's one up there, about Home Depot ShopRite truck traffic, next driveway, or something advisory in that capacity as well. So that's the stuff I want to look at a little closer and whatnot, so. And then I'll talk to Bart, and I'll let you know.
Do you think for our March 6th meeting, is that when's our March?
yes, 3/6.
March 6th, we can have some proposal in terms of specific signage?
Would you like, I'm going to suggest this on that good. I'm going to send you guys a little plan before I give it to the county. Make sure you have, we're on board here. Maybe you'll have a better...
Okay.
Or more signage or whatever it may be. Okay. The health officer report.
Right, correct.
You want me to say what?
Yes.
Okay. How are we doing time-wise? Am I on time?
No.
Oh, boy.
No, you're over time.
Oh, boy.
You're doing good.
Oh, no, 8:10? Okay. Let's
You
move
should be
right
done by 7:45.
on. For the first time in my career,
We've done a report, right?
we have prepared our first annual Township Board of Health report, which I just passed out tonight, and I'm sorry for the late arrival. However, there's obviously no necessary due date. There's got to be an annual report written, so we can take action on next month or whenever you feel comfortable. Basically, what we've done. And then when you actually take a minute and read this, there's some kind of interesting things you're going to find relative to some of the restaurant facilities in town. Vermin, dog bites, things of that nature. We summarized the information provided by the county, trying to put that together in some sort of, concise form. That's the first section of the report. Then, in the back of the report, we put a little summary on the OU2 project, because clearly that's of significance. Significance. Is that a correct phrase? Significance. Okay. I think this is pretty comprehensive. I think for the first crack out of the box, it's,
Yep.
take a look at it. Poetic license.
Where did you get the information from?
From the county board of health.
From the county, I see.
Yeah. But we summarized it.
Understood.
And condensed it.
Yeah. No,
We
it's,
didn't, this was a lot.
I like the format. It's simple, it's easy to...
Yeah. And it really sums it up.
Yep.
I mean, I can't think of too much that happened health-wise, other than maybe some poison ivy outbreaks. There isn't it. So, take a look at it. We can talk about it maybe in 2 weeks, and if you want, we can either finalize it and take action to accept it, I guess.
Right, that would be the action.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Great, thank you so much, Michael.
Sure.
Thank you.
That would conclude
Your reporting.
that was
All right, thank you.
Perfect.
Can I have a motion to accept the monthly reports for Police Department, Emergency Squad, and Municipal Court?
Second.
Comment. Roll call.
Bailey?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Valari?
Yes.
Boyle?
Yes. And and just as a point of order, Kim, for future agendas, for the first public comment, can you please include the disclaimer that it's for agenda items only, and that it be limited to 3 minutes per person, just for time management? Can I have a motion to open up the meeting for public comment?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone wishing to make public comment, please come up to the podium, state your name and address. Seeing no hands, can I have a motion to close public comment?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Lorraine, you have a report for us?
I do, very short. All of the year-end work has been completed, all the reconciliations have been. For the past 2 weeks, we've been fine-tuning all of the new reporting requirements, all of the assessments and whatnot, trying to find new ways to accommodate the reporting office.
Did you keep one?
Our temporary tax collector, I'm not sure if that's the appropriate title, but she implemented some modifications and internal office procedures that have sped things up a little bit. And she's also spending a lot of time getting the new files in order. For the last 2 weeks, I've been working on escrow accounts with 3 new accounts, some deposits, some stoppage, stop order notices, whatever they're officially called. I've been working with TD Bank to get us hopefully online internet banking with TD Bank so that I can access our accounts a little easier. We spent a lot of time with individual training for requisition inputting. I still have to double check with Edmonds a way to get additional accounts added to someone's allowance for when they create a requisition. I did finish the FEMA receipts that you all had asked for at the most recent budget meeting, and I'm just waiting to hear back on the expenditures that we had for the 3 storms that I was aware of. I have also been working on a pension problem. I don't know if you remember, but the sewer bills for the last quarter of 2011 had been calculated but never distributed to the consumers. Much like that incident, there was a pension report for the 4th quarter that was calculated but never submitted to the state.
In 2011?
Yes. The only reason that we became aware of that was because there was an employee that had a pension loan that we kept getting notices about, hey, you still owe this money. We know that it had been deducted. I had gone back through payroll several times. It had been deducted. It had been paid. I spent probably about 3 hours back and forth with pensions, finally getting a supervisor and employee training procedures pretty much. And they confirmed that the 2011 4th quarter report had never been submitted. That held the earnings and the payment for that loan that they said that we had shorted them. So they assured me everything was fine. They gave me something in writing to say it was fine. But lo and behold, they sent us a bill. I mistakenly thought it was for a new pension. It's not. It was a bill for that same pension that they said had not been paid off. So I spoke to the same gentleman that I spoke to in December and January, and he assures me he's going to get it worked out.
So, in fact, the bill is for the pension that had not really been filed or paid?
It had been paid.
It had been paid.
Confirmation
Okay.
It had been paid.
Okay.
But because the reported contributions had never been submitted to the state, they didn't apply it.
Oh, that would explain a lot to me, yes.
I'll continue to work with TDRS and hopefully get this resolved. And that was all I had. Mike was good enough to pass down the receipts for January and year-to-date, month-to-date for February.
Mike, and I just had one question for you. We would like to meet with you about the grants. I'm hoping next week. Mike, what were the 2 dates we picked?
I think Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday or Wednesday, 8:30. Which day is good for you?
Either one, we'll go for some.
Tuesday's better for me, Mike.
Yeah, I thought you picked Tuesday was a little better. Okay, Tuesday.
Tuesday's a little better, yeah. Okay.
What should I have ready?
Mike's bringing paperwork
Okay.
about
No,
you need to bring paperwork so that we
What
can
roads we proceed from?
combine.
Yeah.
No, it's, and sidewalks and
Yeah.
a couple of others.
You don't-
Small cities.
You don't want to,
Not
right? No, you won't be here tomorrow, let me rephrase.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm sorry. On Monday, you know that list that you had last month that showed that there was all that excess funds and so forth, and I was like, that money should have been spent and so on and so forth? If you could give me a copy, just send me a copy of that list, so that I can see what the cross-reference was to the name, and I'll bring those files, to see what.
Because Mike might be able to shed a light on the inconsistencies. Yeah.
For
All right.
sure.
I'll email that to you on Saturday.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. That's perfect.
Okay,
And
Thank
thank
you,
you.
It means Tuesday, I can get it Monday, I can file Monday, perfect.
Thank you.
I had a,
Before we, I'm sorry, did you?
yeah, I
you
had
have
a, I had a
comment?
request on,
Yeah.
so, for recreation, can we, you said that you're tying out every month with recreation, the recreation fund and the sub-accounts? Are you able to provide that report to recreation?
Yeah, actually, Sherry provided that to them.
So it's already,
I think a week ago.
so for February,
Of course he did.
Hasn't been closed yet.
okay. So that would be the January 31st balance?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, we printed out as of today, this is your balance.
And that goes to,
The treasurer or Mike Hellman? Oh, you gave it to Sherry.
To Sherry, she has day-to-day, hour-to-hour contact with them.
so we can be assured that they're getting the
That's the
message?
source to recreation.
Okay, good.
Are you copying Tom? When you, oh, okay.
Oh,
But
so
I think do you want to get copied on that or no, on the finance?
The finance.
The finances component of it? I think it should be copied.
Yeah, need to be there.
Yeah, just CC Tom, if you can, Chair.
you can
Thanks.
digest.
Yes, I did, thank you.
Okay, is that it? Yeah, okay, now, before we move on to the finance, I just, there's a few walk-on resolutions, and I'd like to call for a motion for Resolution 2014-30, a refund of tax overpayment in the amount of $2,630.45 for, it doesn't have lot and block. Yeah, I don't like reading the name.
23.27, huh?
Yeah, where do you
Look at
see
the
that?
actual, go to the actual, yeah, right there.
Oh, I see.
23.27.
Yeah, block 23.27, lot 4.
No, no.
That's a different
No,
one.
no, yeah.
Oh, that's
It's
31.
6:30
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you,
so,
but you have them together, Kim.
Because they're two separate ones.
Yeah,
One's a refund of
which is
tax
what-
overpayment, and one is a municipal lien redemption.
okay, let me call for the motion this way. For a refund of tax overpayment, Resolution 2014-30, in the amount of $2,630.45, with a mailing address commonly known as 600 Patricia Circle, Stewartsville, New Jersey.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Comment, roll call.
Bailey?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Suarez?
Yes.
Strello?
Yes. And also, can I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2014-31, a municipal tax lien redemption in the amount of $1,475.16 regarding Block 23.27, Lot 4?
Make the motion.
Second.
Comment. Roll call.
Bailey?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Suarez?
Yes.
Strello?
Yes.
I have one more comment on the 2014-30 is not on the bill pay list. The other one, the 147516 is here, but 263045 is not.
I didn't get any time to add it to the bill.
Okay, so we have,
Two of you passing that resolution, then we'll be the first, I'll be the first. to do it
Correct.
in the morning.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
so will it be on the next bill pay list?
Yeah.
No,
Oh, not making it.
no, you passing this resolution authorizes you to release the funds. If you want, I can add it manually to the next purchase order.
Okay. I'm just wondering, because I know we did this last month too with Kerrigan Designs.
And then the
Okay.
next purchase order number.
Are you concerned about it not being captured in...
Yeah. It's a valid-
So maybe you can manually add them,
If you don't mind.
add that one and Carrigan Design too, just to, oh, no, we added Carrigan on this tonight. We added that, so just this one,
Mhm.
yep, it was manually added.
I'm sorry to be so picky.
No, you want to get it,
I just,
yep.
I have to figure out how to maintain the circle of what life we're doing with this.
No, makes sense. Fair enough. Okay, now for the Budget, Finance Committee review.
Yeah, so what we're going to do here is talk about the temporary purchasing clerk position. This was a matter that was going to be addressed in executive session, and I received a note here advising that the individual was requesting the Township Committee discuss compensation and reduction of hours pertaining to my employment in public. So we're doing that at the request of the individual. So the topic is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's temporary purchasing clerk was the motion that was created. It was that position and the elimination of that position. In April 2013, a temporary purchasing clerk position was created. Based upon the review of the current purchasing demand within the township, we currently process about 100 purchase orders or purchase requests per month. And the new temporary bill pay process in place, we're actually removing one of the department's demand on that process. So it's the recommendation of the Budget and Finance Committee that the temporary position be eliminated. With the new temporary bill pay process in place, department heads are being held accountable to enter their own purchase requests, thereby eliminating the need for that purchasing, for a portion of that purchasing clerk's position. The processing of utility bills, the filing, PO receipts, back and forth with the department heads, bill list and recording the date paid and whatnot, we believe can be distributed to other resources within the department. So it's the recommendation of the Budget and Finance Committee to eliminate the temporary purchasing clerk position. So I'd be looking for a motion.
Yeah, I just a couple comments. But did you call for a motion yet? Should I wait?
I was,
You asked for the motion.
Yeah.
I will
so we can discuss.
I will make the motion.
Okay.
Need a second?
I will second.
Okay, now it's comment.
Jonathan.
Now, I recall when this temporary position was created, and it had to do with trying to address a backlog. And I just want to say, for the residents who are here tonight and who might be watching this tape, that Jim and Elaine have really done just an outstanding job in terms of looking at our entire process from the beginning, fresh, and not just accepting the way that we've always done business in Greenwich, but looking for ways to improve. And I'm well aware, and I see Kathy sitting here tonight, and I'm well aware that the decisions that we make here certainly would have a negative impact on your compensation. And we don't take these decisions lightly. However, our fiduciary obligation is to the 5,500 residents in Greenwich, and we owe everyone an obligation to make sure that this operation is working smarter, not necessarily harder, and more efficient. And, just in looking at, and in each new procedure that Jim and Elaine have rolled out, and even tonight with the rec review, and pushing back to the department heads who are already on salary from the taxpayer and already there to do these tasks. It is removing the extra layer, and Greenwich Township, I firmly believe, is fighting the stereotype of municipalities being bloated and government not being efficient and adding needless, bureaucracies. You're cutting through that with your recommendation, and really, you're to be commended for it. It's greatly appreciated. It really is, and that's the only comment I wanted to add. for the record, is a long-winded thank you.
Well, I'm sure both Jim and I have taken a long look at this, and especially Jim, where it comes to streamlining processes. You know, I do a lot of the research in a different way, but Jim is process-oriented, and that has shown through, and we've walked a lot of processes together, and I can't say enough about, it's not easy to do this, especially with the fact that we are not full-time employees, and we have to do this on our off time, and we've done nothing since January 1 but concentrate on these processes. You know, and, you know, I really give accolades to Jim because he has paid attention to the detail.
I totally second that. Me being, asking for those services from Jim and Elaine, you know, right off the bat as of January 2nd, you know, having recreation identify a problem, and me bringing it to Elaine, who has an uncanny knack of looking at finances from a macro level, and being able to drill down into saying, here's what it is, and then Jim's ability to be able to look at it from a process standpoint and to break it into these weird flow charts that just blow my mind, and to be able to drill it down into a process that actually works and is actually, you can actually communicate it in regular terms for people to quickly understand and implement. So, and that's what we've done with just the rec, and it's proven here tonight, you know, with our first report there, and all bits of the processes being able to be seen tonight, even from the oversight from the liaison on the overage of the 1,000, stuff like that. So we really saw a nice piece of all the parts of what happened, and it seems to be working well.
And it's a nice thing to have everybody kind of working together rather than somebody telling you.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like we're hoping to have folks buying into it, and
But
it
definitely
seems
adds
so
value
far
to the taxpayer, you know, if they don't
department
see
heads
it
are
on
doing
paper,
that.
I mean, I'd love for them to come in and look at these things that you put together and really see the process, and talk to the people, you know, out at rec, and hear their sentiments on how they feel about a process being asked for and being turned around in 30 days and actually be working. I think it's outstanding.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Roll call. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cut checks on Monday. Who's going to process it?
We will be in Friday, and
We'll lay it out.
We'll lay it out
Yeah,
for you.
I mean, we need approval before we can implement this thing. So, you know, we have processes that need to be, I mean, it's not, you know, I don't want to, I'm sitting up here on behalf of the taxpayers that voted us into office to see that these efficiencies get implemented. This is not a pleasant part of the job, but we do need to change the way in which we do business here and have it taxpayer-centric. And we will process the checks, and we'll put them in the mailboxes, and they'll get out the door. You know, we can think of other things down the road, electronic payments, all those types of things, but we need to take incremental steps as we're going
right.
to make these changes to put them into place. So,
I want to be sure that you're aware that I won't have time to assume those responsibilities.
We don't believe that you will.
Any other comments?
I've been in this position many times with small business, and, you know, it's a tough thing to do, but you have a process to do it, and that's what software is all about, to streamline the process, and if you have a way to do it, then that's fine, as far as I'm concerned. If it's in the proof is in the pudding. That's all I have to say.
Great.
Roll call?
Haley's,
Yes.
Miliani,
Yes.
Adams,
yes.
Laurie,
Yes.
Freeland.
Yes. Jim, did you have anything else on there, or should we?
That was
Okay.
the financial.
Okay, thank you.
Elaine, did you
No, I think we've,
cover it?
not from a, but, yeah, we've done
Um,
what we can do up to date. The 6th will be more.
With respect to my agenda items, DEP staging area, is that something that we're going to address when we meet with them, do you think, in Franklin?
Oh, I'm sure.
So,
Did they get to, excuse me, did they get to you about the next proposed meeting date?
I've seen so many emails. I said yes to whenever the last one was.
At the break or something.
Yeah, we'll take this offline, and I'm looking at the time, I'm gonna try under my
Lorraine?
agenda items to get us
Okay.
caught up. You can go, Lorraine, if you want to. Yeah, absolutely.
You want-
So,
I was gonna add a specific comment though about the state.
yeah.
Okay. Was it last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we've been talking about it.
About the Andy project.
Yeah,
Correct.
yes,
I did speak with Bob, can they,
right, I forgot about that.
that's where it was left, that Bob and I were supposed to look at it.
Mm-hmm,
We talked about it, we haven't gotten together yet.
Not yet.
no.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I thought he was.
I saw Montgomery walking, I didn't know if he was sitting next to me. So there are some logistical issues with using that property as a staging area. Not that just rules it out, carte blanche. So, we still got to talk about it, and obviously, there's nothing going to be decided before that meeting in March the 7th, I think is how it turned.
No, I would just say this, and again, I'm only speaking for myself, but to the extent that the logistical issues are not insurmountable and not cost prohibitive, to me, that's where I think it makes the most sense. And I would,
Instructive to the
I would like to see every effort explored, to use that as a staging area to keep the traffic out of the center of town.
Yeah.
So to the extent that we can,
So-
yeah, so, it's like the, right, it's, right.
That side completely.
And there was some, discussion with Bob that some of that cost may in fact be, the folks who want to do the staging now.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
So, and we'll talk about the
Okay.
meeting.
Okay. Then the next item, in coming to Town Hall during these storms, I've noticed and I'm looking at you and I'm looking at Joe in the back, I don't know who it'll be this corner out here with the dripping. I don't know if that's an engineering issue, if it's to me, I don't think it's a maintenance issue, I think it's a design, and, we have to address that.
Flat roof issue.
We have to do something, I don't know, from the roof, if we're putting something that catches the water and diverts it, and it we have to figure something out, because that's unacceptable in terms of just continuing to drip and then ice and drip and ice and drip. We have to, it is dangerous. And I don't know, the reason I want it on the agenda is to figure out whose job that is and what needs to be done to address it. So I'm
Well,
looking
if
to...
Mike looks at it from an engineering standpoint, maybe he can make some suggestions.
Buildings and grounds, who
Yeah,
owns that?
I mean, I can certainly look at it.
Maybe
and
repiping
almost
it
even
into the
if
rocks.
Just a favor to the township, which is fine. But I almost think it's more a roof guy, a roof gutter guy. I mean, I think that's because you got a flat roof, it's old, it's the worst thing you could possibly have. I don't know how old those gutters are. Joe, how old, what's our
How old's the
gutter?
building?
Okay, see, so,
They're brand new.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, I don't think I think it's a design issue. I mean, listen to me, I'm an engineer. But I mean, maybe it's not, but...
It could be that pipe that's right there on that corner goes underground and out. There could be a problem with that pipe not leaving the water go out and it's backing it up.
Who knows, there might be a big frozen block in there for all we know.
So what do we need to do as a committee in terms of an action item so that this goes from a theoretical discussion to actually putting it into action?
If I could ask Joe a question, or Joe or DPW perhaps, you know how you do snakes and clear out the drains? Is there something that you can do? Do you have the equipment to do that here?
You can clean it better.
Joe, I'm sorry, Joe.
You can repitch it.
Where does that pipe actually out?
It actually goes out to the street.
At the curb or in an inlet?
Can't be legal.
Down to the curb.
Okay, so it's going to
It's when everybody did whatever they wanted.
yeah, it's probably,
It's probably
yeah.
Frozen and blocked.
That's the worst place for it to outlet, because it's getting blocked up with ice, with cinders, with grit, with crap, with
So maybe Joe should look at it, because he knows
stuff.
what's best.
Yeah, that's probably the problem.
So you think
They can't come out on above ground, because then you're just putting discharge on top of the sidewalk.
yeah,
You'll end up in the same situation with discharge.
Mhm, you
Where
can't put it
does-
at the rocks either, because it'll wind up going into the basement, or start to, yeah.
I would say make sure the underground drains are clear.
so you want to start that way with DPW, checking the,
We can give it a shot. It's
okay,
probably, but right now, it's probably frozen mass also.
understood,
We were working all day today around the outside.
okay.
Back the drains out as much as possible.
All right, so when weather permitting, if you can, I mean, look into that, and then depending upon what Joe's result is, we can have another conversation on that. Municipal security code. Yeah, we need one code only. Okay, we need them reset. If you can get that done this week. And, and
Is the
keys.
door broke
What internal keys
still, or is
Yeah.
it fixed?
You want,
to this section where the mail is?
okay, please.
I want all new locks, all new tumblers in here with keys, and I want everywhere. Front door, all the doors, and I want to see,
Issuance policy. We need
a new
issuance
key issuance policy,
Okay.
where every employee who gets a key, there's a signs for it, and they get a number, so we can track them.
Yeah, there's only 3 customers
Right,
out right
right.
now.
And is
I
it-
changed it,
Right.
it's just myself, land use secretary, and Dave Moran.
So my front door key doesn't
My
work.
key doesn't
No,
either work.
those
Just the
people
code.
Okay, good.
What I'm worried about is the power goes
you
out,
still
you
want me
can't
to
get in,
change
you
the front
can't get
door?
in the building.
Tumbler lock, there's
Yeah.
only 3.
If you know that issue has been addressed, then no, you don't have to.
Okay.
And what about the internal?
Internal, I think everything new, and,
My office, I only have a key. Court offices, court personnel. Sherry's office, she has a key, and assessor are the only 2.
And I have a key.
Okay,
To
and you
Sherry's
and you
office.
have a key.
Yes.
Now, that master key that you have that opens up this last one, that opens that office there, utility closet,
And the door over here.
and the door to come in here.
but not Sherry's office and not yours,
No,
and not the courts.
no.
Okay.
So,
question.
I
Hang on,
mean,
the front door, did you just say?
You know, I have no keys. I handed my keys in 12, I got none
Replace the
left.
front door? Key.
She says it was,
In the,
So you got the
Front
master
door
key to the
key.
3 doors.
Right. What I'm saying is I want, if the power goes out and you can't, the code box goes out, doesn't it? Because it's an electronic
Yes.
release.
Or is there a
So if the
battery?
power goes out, how do
I think it will.
emergency management coordinator get in the building?
no, I think, here's the simple thing, we need to rein this in, and we need to have a written list. Every key has to have a number on it, assigned to a person, and and every elected official should get a key to here, and when they're no longer an elected official, they
Return it
have
back
to
in.
return the key.
Okay, so.
And we don't have that anymore.
We used to have that with the land ordinance book and the keys, and there was a fine if you didn't return everything.
All right, so elected officials, front door
Try to
key.
get one.
Yeah.
Front door key.
Front door keys, is it right?
Yeah, I don't have anything.
And we need a key to, quite honestly, I don't know, I'm looking to Frank, in terms of security, there would be no reason why an elected official would need to get into a court room. So,
No.
that, we would not need that.
No.
There would be no reason to
Never
get
had
into
it.
finance, unless you're on a finance committee. So that would not be a township, so you would need maybe 2 keys tops for those rooms for the finance committee. That would be it. In terms of this room, we would all need to have access, and the back door. And I don't know, I think maybe for your office, an emergency, maybe just the mayor and deputy mayor.
I have one key out as an emergency if someone needs to get into that office.
Yeah, typically, nobody ever had a
There
key
is
there.
one person
Who is that person?
that is the fire chief,
Okay.
emergency management, that would need to get into that office.
Okay, that's,
If it was an emergency.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well,
That's,
sounds
then there's
like
no,
a
By
young guy,
everybody else.
so-
yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I will not give it yet to any
No, but we-
elected official or any other.
But somebody else needs to have access to it.
There is one person here that, say there's sparks coming and I'm not here. and-
Yeah, it's not only sparks, if God forbid, if something happened to you, I mean, we have to get in.
Access in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
All right.
another
You
person
also
here.
have your Knox box.
Knox box outside, right?
Yeah.
All right.
That the fire department has.
He has access.
Yes.
Access to the lot.
Okay,
Okay.
So, yeah.
all right.
So if the power did get out and someone needed, emergency management needed to get in or whatever, Joe has a key to that front door.
Okay.
So we're okay that way, but you still want the elected officials to all have a key to the front door?
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
yes.
Yeah, I need to be able to
Yes.
get in this power. I'm his deputy anyway, so.
The lane.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
And
And tie it to the last final paycheck.
add to the policy that the failure to return it, that elected official has to pay for the cost of
Well, it was
replicating.
$150.
Period.
It was $150.
Final paycheck is held.
Also, we should also be looking...
Yeah, final paycheck is make the final paycheck withheld until the key is
That's a good
returned.
idea. But, there was also, like, no one really should be having the code either outside of...
No one should have that code.
Nope.
No, and I'm not, I mean,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, all right.
code to
And if you can, Frank, if you can draft something for the employees to sign that they're in receipt of the code, they represent that, they will not share the code with anyone, with any third party.
Now that we have the cameras up, we'll know who accesses it via the code.
Right. Okay, all right, but I just want to check back, so we're going to change, are we changing tumblers now, or are we not changing?
Yes.
Every tumbler, including the front door?
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to change it, start over, hit the reset button, hit the reset button, everything,
Okay, so the new lock on the front door.
yes,
And then all right, just let me make sure I have this right. New lock on the front door, and then keys will be assigned to elected officials.
for the front door,
For the front door.
and I'm going
and,
to, we'll call it the mail room,
elected officials, and myself, and, the, planning board secretary, and Dave Beretta.
Yes.
Three employees.
correct, and what about Amanda?
Amanda uses the code.
Okay.
Get in, I don't.
No, I don't mean for the front, but I'm talking about for engineer.
Oh, well, I mean, okay.
She's got the mail room.
Amanda has the key to the
Mail room.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but the,
I'm sorry, you were doing the front door. You're on the front door. Okay.
all right, just let me, I don't want to change that key lock at the door here to the mail room, which opens up the meeting room.
'Cause it's a
which opens up the
master.
vault, Which opens up the vault, it's a master key that opens it opens the vault
Yeah.
downstairs. It opens this room,
So
and
my
this
key
room.
opens the vault downstairs?
The vault that has.
No money in it.
The minutes in it, and the tax books, and.
We need to take a tour of the vault.
Yeah, it doesn't open the evidence.
You
It's
can
like
get
Al
in it.
Capone's vault. Can we have a tour?
I don't,
Change it.
Yes.
Change it. Change them all.
change all four of those locks.
Yeah,
Okay.
change it. Change
Well,
it.
they-
And you can have the locksmith do a new master key for those
All
rooms.
four,
But
yes.
hit a reset button.
We haven't done it in years.
Hit a reset button.
Probably haven't changed these locks in
Yes.
a long time. I did every, excellent, very efficient. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes,
It's time. No.
yes.
No,
Finance?
No, her office downstairs?
Not
Up here.
downstairs,
Not
up here.
downstairs, up here.
No, hers is staying the same, court's staying the same, mine's.
Yeah. The court you can leave alone, because nobody had that,
I
so.
got that, and then I will, assign out the new number, four-digit number, and I will, send it via email to everybody.
No, actually, no.
No,
You're going to give it to Frank.
Then he'll issue it.
You're going to give it to Frank, and Frank is going to secure a signature of every employee in exchange for that code.
Oh, what about you guys?
Yeah, same thing.
Oh, okay.
Same thing.
we follow the same procedure.
He's going to give us the...
So that will be done by 3/6, Kim? 3/6, March 6th?
I'll have this done either tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah, so by
Okay, I just-
3/6.
By 3/6, we'll have a report saying it's all done.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that. I thought you said, well, I have it done.
No. We'll have a report back to the committee, it's all done.
Okay.
And then finally, did we cover that? We're done, right?
Yeah.
Social media policy, everybody has a copy of the social media policy?
Yes.
Has everybody had a chance to take a look at it?
No.
No.
I've been
Yeah,
feeling
we,
in the middle of the meeting.
What is it, 4 pages long?
I didn't have it before the meeting.
I didn't have it.
Was it here before it got up?
I didn't have it.
Talk to the township attorney.
And he has to play by the state rules.
Yes, he does.
Although he was a
Is this
committee member.
draft, Mr. Tadeo? Yes. Okay, thank you.
As part of the development of our new webpage, we'll need to adopt a social media policy, have it published on the webpage, and this will, I think, address, address some of the issues that we've been grappling with as a municipality. This makes clear that, I think it makes clear that Greenwich Township is going to maintain one official website and one only at greenwichtownship.org, and that the content and the policies and guidelines for the use of social media is for the township committee to determine and to make determinations as to what social media sites the township will maintain, and it also includes any of the commissions or committees which are arms of the township. So, I don't know if we want to go through this, or Frank, you want to, summarize it, give the Cliff Notes?
It just says that we have one official organized township website, that's greenwichtownship.org. That anything that is put through there basically is all intents and purposes what comes from the community to the residents. There's no other authorized Greenwich Township social media site. That if there is a proposal for a social media site from one of the agents or departments within Greenwich, they're going to have to come before the committee and get committee approval before having any websites such as a Facebook page, etc. And then the administrator or whoever the designated person will monitor all content at all times on the website. And it just lists it lists basically the parameters, which we have done right now, of number one, the website, and number two, anything that may come in the future that we don't have as of this time as far as social media. Also has a terms of use disclosure at the bottom that has basically information disclaimers, and if there's things like links to other sites. For instance, if you have like a Warren County website link, and somebody clicked on the link and it's on the County of Warren website, you would say something that potentially could be defamatory, just to give an extreme example. It would be considered not the content of it, so it would become the official position of the Greenwich Township Committee. So that's what the disclosure. The disclaimers are at the bottom of the policy.
This is different than a technology policy.
Yes.
Technology policy would get into the ownership of data on the computers that are here, the sites that one could access.
Right.
It's very different than this.
Completely different.
Okay, that's...
Yes.
Now I'm clear.
Yeah, that one is, and I don't want to speak for Frank, but I would suspect that one would be much more specific. This is, I think, sufficiently general enough that it doesn't become antiquated or outdated, but at least gives us some clear guidelines in terms of managing expectations.
It's the ultimate say in what who speaks on behalf of the state.
Right.
And this will be on our website.
Yeah.
It will be on the website.
Yes.
Okay. I like it.
There's already a link for it. And then from a philosophical standpoint, and Frank and I have been talking about this, and I think we need to start the discussion now with all committee members in terms of, philosophically where we want to go with social media. In my opinion, I think I voiced this publicly before, when we're talking about a municipality, I don't think that municipality should be involved in anything social. So, for me, inherently, whether it's Facebook, well, I would say Facebook, Instagram, less so Twitter, because Twitter's one-way communication. But on some of these other sites where you can get into chatter and back and forth banter, I think it becomes very problematic from a legal standpoint, because the municipality is now liable for improper postings. It becomes confusing. The message becomes diluted. who said that, and then people start talking about, well, did you see on the Facebook page, Greenwich Township said, well, it's really not Greenwich Township, it's somebody who posted on the comment, and, you know, it really dilutes the message. The other thing that I don't think has been discussed, that I personally have a strong feeling towards, the more avenues of social media that a municipality employs, the more diluted the message becomes. It becomes fractured. So people are like, well, do I go to Facebook to get information? Do I go to the web page? Do I go here? Do I go there? And then the whole purpose is to be able to disseminate information, increase transparency, increase community awareness, and the more sources you have, you're undermining your very objective. And for me, and I know, you know, in working for the last 30 days at least on the new township webpage, and all of the resources that, and the time and energy we're putting towards that, I think it's critically important we drive all 5,500 residents to one source for all information, period. And you can achieve everything. I know the police chief was talking about the Facebook page and wanting to be able to communicate to residents and to get information out, pictures of folks. That could be done on our township webpage. You can have Nixle, which could reach out to individuals to provide text messages. Our new webpage is going to have an RSS feed, and you can bifurcate you sign up for it. You can register just for alerts, or you can register for any and all changes. So if our webmaster goes into the home screen and takes out a comma and adds a semicolon, if you want that level of update, you'll get a push notification that the recreation section on soccer was updated. And you can see, and you'll say, oh my God, all it was a comma or a semicolon. The point is, we have the technology to be able to push communication to residents, and for residents to be able to get whatever information. And I think we need to drive the residents to one area, and I think that we need to work with the different departments, like presently we're working with recreation, to fold in all of their needs within the township webpage that has a separate section just for recreation. We're folding in a separate section for the municipal courts, where people can pay their tickets online. We're folding in an emergency services section where there's going to be all contact information for EMS, OEM, fire, police. If the police chief wants to be able to communicate and disseminate information on individuals with pictures and description, he'll be able to contact the webmaster, and that will be immediately posted. So, and again, whether it's through RSS feeds or hopefully Nixle or some analogous service, the residents will be able to get that communication without all of what I believe to be the legal pitfalls of a site like Facebook, which in my opinion is just not well suited for municipal government. And in fact, you know, there's a point that often gets overlooked, and there's other municipalities in the surrounding area that have social media policies that say, well, if you use Facebook, you know, all comment will be deleted to avoid that issue. Well, first, you're now having to waste taxpayer money to actually employ a system that allows for comments so that you can delete all comments. I mean, talk about a waste, number one. Number two, it's actually in violation of Facebook policy. Because Facebook basically says, we're social, you're not supposed to be deleting. So, you know, that's an issue that I haven't really heard much discussion with other municipalities in terms of how do they reconcile their social media policy of deleting with the Facebook policy, which says you shouldn't be deleting. So there's a conflict there. So I just think that we can be 21st century, we can be efficient, we can provide a very effective and efficient outreach, and we can do it on a platform that is most user-friendly for the municipality and for all of its different agencies, where we can have the flexibility of providing certain information that our rec commission needs, certain information that our EMS and fire, you know, would like to be able to reach out, and the same for the police. We can do, and courts, we can do a one-stop shopping for all Greenwich residents, and hopefully they'll come to know, we want to know anything about Greenwich, we go to the Greenwich website, which seems to make sense. And I think this social media policy, while not blanketly precluding any of those other avenues that I voice concern over, it allows us to make those decisions. So, for me, I think this is exactly what we need. Any other comment?
Do we have to motion to adopt that?
Well, if no one else has any comment.
Is this the final copy? Yeah, I mean, I don't see any.
Yeah, I was thinking of the technology policy, so this is not that.
It's not that, but we
Yeah.
need that.
And
If we don't
I
have
hope to
that.
see that for the March 20th meeting.
Which one, the 20th or the 6th?
I would push for the 6th, but
Okay, I'll write it on my list.
we'll get there. In advance on the Friday before, of course. But if you want a motion to adopt the Greenwich Township social media policy, I'll make that motion.
I will second it. Any comment? Roll call.
Bailey?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
Milani?
Yes. And let's see, that's it for me.
Who's making up 30 minutes? I need
So who's
5
going to make up
minutes.
the time?
You want to take a 5-minute break?
I just need 5 minutes.
Okay, let's take a 5-minute break.
You all right?
Motion to take 5 minute break?
No, I'm-
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Frank?
I don't know, did we need to do an official roll call?
Aye.
No, I mean, was that okay to do it? Yeah, that was okay. Do I need to turn this off?
Yes, you do.
Place where I could go look at it, Tom?
We're recording.
Have my
Right.
shredded
Motion
back,
to come
and,
out of recess.
you know, that
The
was,
webpage.
I kind of looked at my
Okay,
grandkids,
motion.
you know.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
But, yeah, we had a good
We are
time.
Where are
underway.
we at now? In the South End Street?
Actually, we're on you.
Are we on me now, or?
Florida, you are way behind time.
Right, well,
You're a half hour behind.
let's need to find my...
Pick it up.
Trying to get her to fireplace it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to find out. I wish we had tabs like the last time.
The word is,
Yeah.
that that
Joe,
vortex,
Joe, you're here for the run statistics for 2013 start off
so many,
and OEM.
Is this referring to the report to the
the way it should be. Yeah.
But it's hard for him to
Apologize
get
for
some of
not
them
getting
all
this
in.
in. Been a little
Friday before the deadline?
I know.
Well, you act like there's been snow or something, or any type of weather-related
Or
item.
cleaning away of like 18 feet in many spots.
The roof collapsing.
18 inches.
You know me, Joe. Feet, inches, I'm only 5 feet tall.
Real brief, it's nothing more than the run for the fire department for 2013. Go through it real quick. We ran 168 calls for the year 2013, amassing 1,065 man-hours.
Here, one second, pass it down.
Average response time for the first unit at the scene for the year for them calls, 7 minutes and, 7.38 minutes. Administrative and training, 61 events, amassing 2,216 man-hours. Last year, we received mutual aid 10 times from other fire departments, and we gave mutual aid 15 times to other communities.
All across 2013.
That's all 2013. Yeah, out of that 168 calls. The graph on the back
Good,
just
I'll
breaks
just send you
down
a mutual.
the type and series of the calls. This year is part of my national fire incident reporting. Fires, and that's any kind of fire from food, cooking, cars, houses, structures. 15.48% of our calls. EMS, rescue EMS is also accidents, rescue somebody in a locked room. That falls under rescue. 18.45%. hazardous conditions, spills, fluid spills, also a lot of our motor vehicle accidents we determine on our part is containing
This is okay.
and controlling spills. 19.64. Service calls are all the other calls, pump details, stuff of that sort. 4.76% of our calls. Good intent calls, thought they needed the fire department, steam was stuff with smoke, stuff like that. 17%, and false alarms and alarm activation, that was all that was down 24.4%. And then the third page just breaks down that 168 calls as per the property type. Restaurants, residential homes, out on the highways, so forth and so on, right down. It breaks them down. Yes.
Question for you, Joe. You got the good intent, the series 6 and 700, the good intent call and the false alarm call totaling like 40%, okay? Are the false, of those, which ones are the automated calls that come in that are not people generated, that are like an alarm system gets you
Well,
out to somewhere?
most of the alarm systems that I know of, they're not monitored or come in like, we don't have alarm boxes or anything in our community. So this building has an alarm system on it, and an answering service receives that and calls it. If there's a trouble, they call me or Kim or somebody to come. Or if it's a fire, they call the communications center. That's how most of them are transmitted. I don't know if there's anything that's automated. We don't receive that on the end. Warren County Communications. So I don't know.
Well,
It's high.
yeah, it's very high, and, you know, it's like 80% of those 40% of your calls
Yes.
driving, you know, and they're false alarms.
Well, as I said, but the only thing, the way it works out is, and probably 10 of them from last year was our fine weight station facility that I'm still battling with the state of New Jersey over. And the mayor was in the office when I meet the state representative up about getting that fixed.
And what is that?
That is when the power flickers. They
The way station
It's
alarm
those
goes
mice
off.
again.
We need to write a
Is it
letter.
a mice issue with the wiring over there?
We need to write a letter.
So the power is flickering.
Well, when the power goes out, and by the time the
I get
generator starts up,
after the
sends
third
the false
time.
alarm.
Me too. That's what I want.
Over 3 times, we're gonna find.
That's the only facility
We
like
should be
that in
fine
the
enough.
community.
Joe,
Oh, okay.
Wow.
we should just be
And
fine.
the other thing is our local guys
We
who
could find
take care of local businesses, they can't take care of state facilities, state division of fire safety.
We're not implementing fines?
What's that?
Implementing,
We can't find the state.
okay.
Find the state.
What about the
They're
other,
locally enforced.
what about the other 40%?
The other 40%, yes, there is fines, but it has to be, you gotta meet the 3 criteria.
Right, it's always 3,
Yes.
right? Because I get fined $500 a pop in Pennsylvania.
For everyone, and that's all tracked through our database, and a lot of these are a lot of individuals that,
Who does Dave send in other words, if your database?
yes, I come, and if I have a multiple, I go to Dave right there, and I issue him 3 fire reports,
And
and
he-
he goes out and handles it.
Okay.
What's that?
How much is the fine, Joe?
Very minimal. Residential wise, and that was the issue, residential wise, I think it only starts at $50.
$50,
They
right.
go up to 150 at that
It
point.
increments.
Commercially, it can go up, but also the fire official, if he
Come back.
feels it's a lack of maintenance, he can name his price.
Okay, so it is by ordinance.
Yes,
Okay.
there is an ordinance, and that addresses the residential section, because it also addresses alarms in general, not just fire, burglar alarms, and things like that.
So do you cross-reference with where the false alarms are between the police department at the same residence, that you might get a false fire?
No, our databases aren't hooked together like that.
Okay,
This program here is all in the fire department's computer.
okay.
They're not linked, and I don't think they can talk to each other because of
Okay,
Of course not.
I can't
yeah,
access the police.
yeah, no.
No, yeah.
We're just, I'm thinking in terms of if a combination of fire and police are happening, and that makes 3 times versus 3 calls just to you, there would be more of a, sound response
Well,
from the township about that.
Unless the police are handling another issue, they are at,
Each one of yours?
they do respond to calls, like I said, if they're not handling other police issues.
That's interesting that we will be reviewing the ordinance that has that.
He already,
He's got it up?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he already knows.
Okay.
He
Oh,
already gave-
I
But
like it.
we'll do a formal motion.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
that's all for the fire department.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Awesome.
OEM wise,
He's great.
I did email the mayor and Tom with the names just because I know, and I don't like to be surprised with the names, so just so you could look at the names prior to the township meeting. But this letter here is for the LEPC, the Local Emergency Planning Council. This year here, the township's emergency operating plan is due for update. Has to be updated, I have to submit it to the county, and then it has to go to the state. So these people here have annexes, and I want to get the school involved because we got to start working on
The plan that we had from years ago, yeah.
designating a shelter,
Mhm,
get more refined with it. The Red Cross is out there stating they don't have the volunteers and the manpower to man these shelters, so it's falling back to the local communities.
Well, do you need professionals to help you with anything?
No, they are professionals as in the plan.
Yeah, and
Michael's like, I'm a professional.
I remember that.
Our department,
Department-driven, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And no, that's not like the hazard mitigation plan that was established.
Exactly.
That's also
Right.
coming up too,
That's coming.
and I gotta wait for the information from the county.
Okay.
But they also got Sandy money for that, so I think all we
Well,
have to
that was
do
going to be my next
is-
question.
Is just to send up what we think some of the hazard mitigation things need to be addressed and have it on hand if an emergency ever happens again. So that's what this council here is for, and I'd like to tentatively set a meeting for March 12th, so I can distribute, the annexes to the department so they can make changes, update corrections, and hopefully get it back here June-ish, and put it together.
So that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
agreed.
So that it's like
You're
approved
right.
by
Yeah,
the fall.
They gotta review it and send it back to me, then the mayor, once we're all set, the mayor has to sign off on them, then I gotta forward it to the county, and the county says they reviewed it,
Okay.
and...
So it's all that red tape, yeah.
It's about, just that, and if we don't have the emergency operating plan up to date and approved, federal grants and funds
Withheld.
are the null and void.
Right.
I remember this 10 years ago.
One other thing real quick, I attended the hazard mitigation grant program for the county level today. We got that email a couple weeks ago. And basically, know the same as I did before, the applications out there were approved. We got the money, but we got to do the application process, wait for them to approve it before we start the project. What I did learn, design, if there's any design work needed or to bid this project out, that money can be reimbursed prior to approval of the grant application. So any money that's expended to do the bidding procedure for we want to do an emergency generator on the building here and the work that's involved here. The bidding and get our final prices, we can do that and we can get reimbursed for that. But if we dig a hole and put a pad trying to catch up or get ahead, we just ate that part of the job. We bid
Okay.
it out and the bids come in and we award it and get a generator here before we get the approval for the grant.
We ate the
We
job.
just ate that.
Right, because you've got to get all that done first.
Whatever we do, so
Mhm.
tiny little baby steps here. Once we get that approval, then we can go and we can submit get partial payments, or if we want to wait, we can go after the whole payment if we do it that way. But once again, like I said before, this is we pay, they reimburse once the pay, whatever we pay out.
So in other words, we've got to front the money.
We have to front the money.
We have to take that into consideration.
When do you see you need to go out the door?
What's the dollar
I
figure,
know
Tom?
you got.
I have the grant application that I have to go into New Jersey and grants, and then they got to review it and stuff. I'm gonna say late spring, early summer. Yes. Yeah, we're that, because I got two applications. I got the energy one that's $35,000, and then the $10,000 one for the county that's go out probably more like a duplicate. And just, I was sitting in the audience here, I forwarded an email to you, and I was supposed to do it 2 weeks ago when we talked about the New Jersey Resilient Energy. While I was back there on my phone, I forwarded that. It should come up as WCOEM in your email address. There's a letter attached stating that the state formed that Resilient Energy Pool Bank or whatever for grants. And also, while I was listening to that, they told us up at this meeting today that the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities for energy products, we can try to get some more money for our generator from that. And I was listening to the solar panels and the LED lights. Both of these sound like that could go into this grant program.
They may qualify. That's what I was thinking the last time you were here.
For that.
That's what I was
That'd be
thinking the
great.
last time you were here. But Mike would have to review and
If Mike
make
would
recommendations.
forward that email to you, since you were doing that with them, and maybe that project, it might have to come up money up front, but that money come in as a grant, maybe a 80-20, 75,
That's 80 more than we got now, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Great, Joe.
Do we have a spend plan on this by sometime in March? If you're talking springtime?
yeah, we would need to know what you're looking for us to have for you to be able to do that.
Put it out and get it
What,
back.
for the
Financial.
generator?
Yeah, financial
Right now, my
needs.
quotes and stuff were about $70,000. I do have them figures there. I did get an estimate from an electrician to do the job that we need. I got an estimate on a generator set with the switching station and stuff. The generator set itself was $35,000.
What would the initial outlay be?
The initial outlay with the whole project, including the DPW, doing probably about a week worth of work of it, and there's some in-kind stuff there that will help us out. 69,000 and change,
that is what they have to have.
$70,000 job.
Right, but we would need to know, to apply for the grant, how much, isn't there a percentage that we need, or do we need to outlay this and then wait for the grant to come?
Well, I know what the figures are for the grant, 35,000 for the one, 10,000 from the county. Now that, like I said before, that's far short of that. These other grant programs that are out here, I was hoping
To subsidize.
to do something to help
Oh, okay.
subsidize.
But just to recap, the total cost of the project is 70. You would be looking between the two grants to recoup 45 of the 70.
Yes.
But to be clear, for our finance committee, they would have to identify a
70.
total of $70,000 to get the project started,
Project gets started.
with the hope of getting a minimum of 45 back, and to the extent that you can have access to these other grants, you would continue to bridge that $15,000 difference.
Okay. Okay, I got it. I got it.
I'm trying to link Mike into this, to assist Joe. I don't
Well, with the solar portion that we've
Yeah, I
tested.
don't know
Does,
where it makes sense to
Well,
link these two together.
I think at a minimum, that, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but when we're ready to put this out to bid, that's,
Mike has to do the bid specs
Is
together.
that what you're saying?
Yeah, Mike has to do the bid specs, so, and there's,
The estimate generator is a 55 kilowatt generator for...
Yeah, that's all that we spec out. I mean, there's work.
We've got to do some more GCP&L and get a more definitive
But that's what you needed to know.
Cars.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
and stuff on this building to have
Well,
on
there's,
that.
you know,
You only have like
there's
50
condos, there's a
cabinets.
plan that's
I
gotta be
know, but
developed,
we
there's things
do
got to put, you know, all the...
combination of stuff.
Bid
Well,
requirements,
yeah.
so
Well, like I said, when I had the
Well,
electrician come in and heater box downstairs, that needs to be
Right.
replaced. It's leaking, water, rust, and we talked about to it outside.
Fronted.
Exactly.
Genset
Exactly.
plugged into it.
I can't get
Instead of
a
going
line here.
downstairs.
Because it has revenue neutral, because you take it 50 amp.
The only other thing we have on the list there, and I don't know if the township has considered it yet or not, is the memorandum of understanding with the county. It's nothing more than having paper documents to, in Sandy, if we had other towns help us, we were devastated. Now that FEMA's come in for a big thing like this, they want written
Oh,
mutual aid agreements.
yeah.
And that's
Don't we also have there was a shared service agreement with the county too, that the freeholders put in? No more? No, this is different, I know, but there's a couple of things we have, even buying in large bulk from the county.
Yeah, that's co-op purchasing.
Right, that I remember.
That, yeah, but that doesn't cover, this is for emergency.
Got it.
Emergency situations. And I've been working on, in my free time, also creating and present to the town is a fire mutual aid plan, listing our county fire department, the same thing. No cost us that unless it's a major thing that they get reimbursed.
So we need to do this by way of resolution.
You have the resolution in front of you.
Yes,
Right.
I think the county forwarded a resolution.
They did.
We have it
For that.
prepared,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's gotta be in by March 1st.
March 1st, that's why the
And you
deadline.
reviewed it?
Yes.
Yeah,
I-
yeah, we've been working on it for a couple of weeks.
Township proper format, and
Yeah.
we authorized, I guess, Joe and whoever else to sign the agreement on behalf of the agreement, and then obviously pass the resolution.
Okay. So first we do the resolution, then we do the letter.
Resolution 2013-32.
The 32.
Joe, meaning the mayor, signing it?
The mayor signs and the clerk is
I just never know.
John May, thank
Joe,
you.
Thank you, thanks, Joe.
Joe, one question. We hear about a lot of these other towns, these roofs caving in.
Mhm.
Is there anyone in the town who looks out for that with these buildings? I mean, do we have any check on these things?
Just the residents, we have a building right now that's,
I mean, the bigger buildings.
that we have
Yeah,
to
I just followed him back.
move the occupants out, and I have to tell them to get out. It's a mixed-use, business and residential.
Like we see some of these strip malls, fairly new strip malls.
On
that are-
on 57?
Company or phone
Yeah.
stuff?
I know.
So we had to have them get out, and the landowner.
Yeah, that's
get
one on
the insurance
57.
company involved, and,
That's the one that-
we notified the construction officials, I think they went up with red tags
I'll tell you why later.
So we know the buildings that are in...
Yeah, really, there's no one to do that, as individual property owners, that's up to you. That's up to you to monitor your properties and take care of that. And then this was a tenant trying to get a hold of the landlord, so they did the next best thing, they called out to the fire department. We advised them from that point.
So Angela, we're not coming to your house to shovel your roof now. Sorry.
What is the fuel
Flat
source
roofs
for
are the
the
ones
generator?
in jeopardy.
Fuel source, diesel fuel.
These big buildings, I mean, they got flat
True.
roofs.
We could be sitting here.
And are we looking at expanding the diesel fuel tanks that we have to support
This
this?
generator set that I spec has a fuel tank capacity to run it for 72 hours.
On the generator
On the
itself?
generator itself. It's, it's a big,
We'll be filling up the snowplow trucks from it.
I may be mistaken, but.
That's all, yeah, I think that's what it was. So there's no
So
stuff.
when we know.
So we'll do the motion and the letter, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Appreciate it.
That's great, Joe.
Great
Thank you.
report.
Thank you, Joe.
I love the
Great
graphic.
report.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Thank you. Can I have a resolution to adopt 2014, a motion to adopt Resolution 2014-32, a resolution authorizing the Township of Greenwich to enroll in membership in a mutual aid and assistance agreement with participating units in Warren County?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Any comment?
It has to include the execution of the contract that was attached.
Including the execution of the contract that's attached. Okay, can I have a motion as amended?
I'll make the motion as amended.
Second the motion.
Comment? Roll call.
To include the contract.
To include the contract.
Bailey?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Freeland?
Yes. And before we...
Do we have to make a motion to sign anything? Did you say
No, that's
No,
before?
no.
Was the contract?
You're correct.
Township administrator and...
Well, he does business different than our other attorneys.
Before,
Get with the program.
before we move on, I forgot to share, I received an email from a resident, Marianne Bonomo, and she asked that I told her I would share it with the folks tonight, and it is, I'm going to read it and then I'll comment. Bonomo, Marianne, Maryann. On February 7th, 2014, I want you to know how thankful I am for your town squad for coming to my aid. I was having seizures during dinner, and Phillipsburg squad was so busy that night, which is understood. Greenwich squad was so fast to come to my aid when I needed help, and I want you to know how thankful for the people who were on that night. Can you please tell them all for me? They were all so nice and done their job well. And, you know, most of the time people hear when there's problems, they very infrequently hear of the praise. And I just wanted to share and thank, I see Sue in the back of the room, and just thank you for your dedication and for all that you do, really. And an equal thanks, while we're, you know, thanking folks around, our DPW department for all of their hard work during the storm. They really have not had a chance to come up for air, and it's really been nonstop. And of course, when the roads were plowed and you know, they thought they could take a break, you know, I'm sending emails saying, please go out and make sure that all the bus stops are cleared and the grates are cleared, because it's going to be melting and snow. So even though it's not snowing, they're still out there, you know, continuously cleaning, and it, you know, the hard work and dedication is much appreciated. So,
Absolutely.
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 Are you done?
No, he's got open space.
So that's, all right, so we have open space to discuss Stewart Park proposal summary, Stewart Park costs, the park plan map, and then follow up with the Greenwich open space cash flow tracking sheet. Tom, will you have the floor? Good evening. Do we have to vote on that?
Yeah,
Oh, is it? I
yeah.
thought we did that.
I'm sorry, you know,
I knew there was a second.
Dawn Marie, just 2 minutes, I just want to do a housekeeping matter. I think our attorney is asking for a motion to approve the local emergency planning council as recommended, constituted Chief Hummer, John Howell, Assistant Chief Mexi, Captain Purcell, Superintendent Eppley, and OEM Coordinator Joe Mexi, and Deputy Coordinator Tom Colari.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Comment. Roll call.
Bailey?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Freeland?
Yes.
Sorry about that, Don Marie.
Since that time, Greenmakers that had informed us, at least in 2013, informed me that it was
It was unsure whether they were going to do it about how the money could be appropriated or not. And that before we embark on a roughly $10,000 cost to prepare the application, professional fees, we should call back in January, February timeframe. We did that, and there will be money appropriated through the end of the year for 2015. And we are today without two funding sources of $1.1 million. So the Open Space Committee with that, and we looked at the plan that we had, and we decided that we would definitely want to go forward with something, but we would basically offer at phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1, which will take us the majority in 2014 and a little bit in 2015, can be funded solely through our Open Space Trust fund balance. And then phase 2, which is more of a complicated, more of the resolution. We're going to have to approach that with, hopefully, if there is a funding round for the 2% loan, or we source more open space and use that as a funding. So that's where we were, and that's where we are today in terms of where we would like to go. Before I get into any details, if there are any questions on that.
With the breakdown between Phase 1 and Phase 2, dollar-wise, is...
Yes. Phase 1 would be $500,000, and you'll see basically on the map, okay, it's outlined Phase 1 and Phase 2, and then we have estimated costs.
Mm-hmm, in your packet.
Let's see, 20 pages in the back.
Are the phases broken down on this chart? Or-
Yeah, you can see phases here, phase 1.
Just put a piece of paper in.
But this financial,
Yeah, there's two
This is really
spreadsheets.
hard.
There's,
She's
there's,
gonna translate.
Do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Who?
My stuff is...
Is that enough? Missing the
We don't have it.
Jimmy's running blind.
estimated cost of construction.
You know, it looks like something that,
Yeah,
it gets stapled in the
Cash
middle
flow.
of something. You want something to the planning board
I have
stuff.
cash flow, that's what I have.
That's where I was getting lost. I can see what you have, but I'm supposed to. That's which one I have.
So phase 1, most of the site preparation, as well as the infrastructure. So basically the topsoil, the cut fill, the grading, soil erosion, and sediment control, respreading the topsoil, soil rising seed, mulching, etc., including seals. The field that we're looking at is the frost, field copy, and stock surface, interchangeable, basically, as well as input wide paved, not paved, unpaved, pedestrian and walking path. Basically, the paving is expensive, so initially what we'd like to do is just have the calculation on it, and then in the following year, we're probably going to have the paving.
Thank you.
And then we have an access, a parking lot, only a portion of the parking lot, not all the spaces, and then some street fencing. And then the phase 2 will basically be the parking improvements. The pavilion, the concession stands, septic system, water line, electric, et cetera, et cetera. So the first year, if we look at the cash flow, you'll see still parking to $500,000, in 2015, $135,000. And then, so that'll be phase 1, and then phase 2 will be the, more expensive parking improvements. So these costs obviously are estimates. When we get into the detail, we'll be able to fine tune them, and obviously some things may shift. We may be able to do more in 2018. We may have to shift more in 2015, depending on where the real estimates come. Yeah.
And what is the source of the estimates?
So the estimates right now is Mike Finelli and these guys, his contacts, et cetera, et cetera.
If we, just so you know, Jim, last year when we were working on various layouts and we kind of got to the, if you want to call it the last layout, if you will, which is reflected on the plan that Dawn Marie has sent out. Ours didn't have the phasing included, but the improvements and the infrastructure was pretty much the same. We did more of a detailed estimate to try and get as close as we could with what this was really going to cost, to the point where I actually called excavating contractors, because when you're dealing in volumes of material of this magnitude, it's different than small little projects where the guys are moving 5,000 yards here, 5,000 yards there. So, I mean, more time goes by, the less confidence I have in the numbers, because things change, of course. But I'm fairly confident that we're order of magnitude, this is about where we're at.
From a historical perspective, what was the original intent of open space and the tax? Was that tax done by referendum? It was,
And then we created an ordinance.
okay, so it was a non-binding referendum to basically check the pulse of the residents as to what they thought. Based upon the feedback of that non-binding referendum, the Township Committee passed an ordinance setting forth this 4-cent tax. And in the ordinance, what does it say that the purpose of the tax is for? Of course, you have it, right?
I have it online, I can't
I'm
get it.
sorry, I'm just trying to get in.
Oh, I know where it is, you didn't mention it.
And the development of open space. It does, okay. Yeah, it's okay. Right, I'm just curious. This was done in '98. Oh, I see this, yeah.
They all say the same, I think we have the same order.
Yeah, we just actually increased them.
One was 2 cents, and one was 1, and then one was another.
2006 being the last year we did the last increase.
Yeah, that's quite,
Okay. Thank you, Dawn Marie. Yeah, I saw what I needed to see in there. Thank you.
So again, the whole purpose here is try to get something started and not have to wait another year and a half for the loan to be available for the do it all at once. So that's the point here. Are you comfortable with the base approach? Are you comfortable with the cash flow laid out? I don't want to say it out, because there's some contractual stuff on here. But we start with a balance that Jim has given to us, and if he's comfortable that the auditor bless that, it kind of rolls down in terms of what our estimated output is. So the floodlight preservation contract that we're expecting,
I'm gonna answer your question this way. I agree with you that there are things on the spreadsheet that may prevent a discussion in open session. And I have some issues and some questions for you that I think need to be discussed in executive session. I think we can put it under executive session under pending litigation. And we can't do that tonight, because I have some questions that I would like to ask specifically with respect to that, and I'm constrained from doing that tonight in open session. But it is weighing heavy on my mind in terms of being able to reconcile some of the numbers and needing a comfort level based upon what's on our plate as a committee. And in order to really get our head around it, I think we need to put this on executive session at the next meeting under litigation,
Based on
based on,
existing,
based on what's being presented here, because in order to have a full discussion, we need to make reference to certain litigation.
the only thing that I have from a design standpoint is the emergency access route is not on here.
Well, okay, it is actually on here. Okay. Give everybody a education. So, small, so when this was preserved back in whatever, 2000, okay, there was a piece of taken out of the Green Acres Green, so to speak, and that is this border between the school and between this property and Windsor Farms along the border.
Mm-hmm.
That was the original emergency access.
Mm-hmm.
The one that everyone talks about is the one that goes from this school to the middle school, elementary to the middle school. Okay? This one will still be there, really not on our property, kind of in the middle.
It doesn't really show on this map,
That one does not now.
and that's what I brought to Mike's attention. So, and, you know, yes,
The one that goes across.
that's totally different. Yeah.
Okay? We can't do it right now because, I mean, we don't have it within it. However, if by chance we ever wanted it, the walking path will have to double as that emergency access.
But this was specifically for emergency vehicles and/or exits from the Greenwich School to Greenwich Street. So when I spoke to Mike about this drawing, the first thing I said is, I don't see our emergency access. And that's all that I really...
Okay, well, I know Tom asked a question about the other emergency access, so I'm just trying to answer both sides.
And you're saying that the emergency access that you're talking about is a dual, no, yeah, not, I was referencing the original one, not the one between the schools.
Yeah, no.
The original one is right here, yeah.
Right. You're saying that the path will
Runs here.
allow dual use, like you said.
It is only for emergency
Where all
vehicles.
the trees are?
Then I'm
Yep.
confusing them.
The first one, along the border,
It's a problem.
will only be the emergency.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just so everybody knows,
The real one.
way
Is that
back
why you
when
want it there with no trees?
property, we extracted
Like
out
there.
50-foot wide
Right.
where it's going Route 20
I
out
know.
along the Chase to Winter Drive.
I don't forget the
Perpendicular
tricks,
to
baby.
So that's where, you know, we're using this emergency access for both
I
of these
take
passages.
it
We're
with
probably going
traffic.
through different things, so we don't get confused with what we're talking about.
Actually.
Right, that's really the only one right now. It's about traffic.
The one that goes up and down
Yes,
from the
going
parking
from
lot of the
Greenwich Street
school.
to the
Right,
school, to
right.
the element, to the...
Because
to the
this
rear
is,
of the element.
this is also where they were trying to do something a few years back, and the school, to make this access an entryway of a parking lot, and we had to say, no, this is the reason why this access exists.
And, obviously, this would be separated, the present plan that Dawn already handed out that we did allows plenty of room there, it's nice, it fits, it works, so. It
So how much do
just
they
isn't
need it?
shown that it's true, but.
What's their numbers?
It
Have
can
they
be
increased?
incorporated.
No, they decreased.
I know. Okay.
That's what I said to retail, did we have a discussion about that?
Mm-hmm. You should.
Right, or no?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, there's some more questions that you can cover.
Not,
If I'm not able to come to the conference, I'll have Bob come, I'll let you know.
okay. Thank you,
And
Dawn.
if we can't do, if you're not available for the 6th, do we wait till the 20th?
Those are the two.
We need to have a
Those are the
conversation.
two, yeah.
We need to have a conversation on that.
Okay.
Thanks, Dawn Marie.
Thanks.
Tom, do you have anything else?
No, that was all on my end.
Committeewoman Emiliani, you're up.
Okay. We received a letter from the planning board secretary with regards to the consistency review of the planning board, and their vote, and the planning board believes that this is the land use ordinance 2014-02 is not inconsistent with our existing master plan, and so I need a motion to open it up for public comment.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Anyone, a public hearing, you said
Public
public
hearing,
comment.
I'm sorry.
So can we amend that? Public hearing.
Public hearing on an ordinance number 214-02, an ordinance repealing the land use procedures ordinance of the Township of Greenwich to combine and merge the zoning board of adjustment and the planning board to create one township land use board to be renamed the land use board and to dissolve the zoning board of adjustment.
I'll make that motion. Okay, this is now public hearing. If anyone wishes to comment on, oh, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Anyone wishing to be heard on this now? Seeing no hands, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now can,
I need a motion to adopt ordinance number 2014-02.
an ordinance repealing the land use procedures ordinance on the Township of Greenwich to combine and merge the zoning board of adjustment with the planning board to create one township land use board to be renamed land use board and to dissolve the zoning board of adjustment.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. Comment? Roll call.
Bailey's?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Troy?
Yes.
Yes.
And I have sent you a copy of an email which I noted was sent to my personal email by error, and I didn't see it, and I mentioned it at the planning board meeting that I hadn't received it, but in fact I did receive it from Clark Hayton and Hints from Carl. It is about the master plan review with regards to a upgrade for the solar technology ordinance and solar. It's pretty well outlined, but he's...
Actually, it's more than solar,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It's technology.
Yeah.
That's how it was, there's a lot of different things that he's planning on looking at, which may go, Jim, to your technology policy. I'm not sure. I don't know the inner workings. Didn't hear much about it other than to find out whether or not we could possibly fund it. Now, whether or not we can or we can't, what I do know is anything with regards to the master plan can be apportioned out over a number of years. So my assumption is based on Carl's $12,500 quote for his work, I would assume somewhere between about $5,000 for the additional professionals who may or may not, and open meetings. It would be about $17,500. Now, we can discuss this at our next budget meeting, but I wanted everyone to really be aware that if we can do this, what the apportionments would be, and I'd discuss it with Lorraine and bring it forward at that time.
I would only want to comment that I think that the suggestion to do this makes good sense in terms of being proactive, and our township has put a tremendous amount of work into our master plan. In fact, I can honestly say it's the most comprehensive and well-thought-out master plan I've ever seen. I mean, it is. But
That sign ordinance is something else.
yeah, the sign ordinance is something else too. It really is. Those are two things that are just like works of art in our township. It really is. It is a legal Picasso. But that said, we really, in terms of what we have to tackle this year, and I know you guys, I think the numbers will, did we just lose power?
No, I have it programmed shut off.
You have what program shut off? Oh, okay. All right. And I know you're going to get to the, all I'm saying is I do get a sense that it's not urgent and that this is something that could wait a year or so, and I guess to the extent that you can find the funds, that's great, but, we have a lot of
As we go forward,
financial pressure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And as we go forward, if it is not, I certainly would not recommend it, because sitting on the Finance Committee, I see firsthand
Right.
what we are dealing with,
Right,
yes.
I mean, it's not that we were predetermined one way or the other. To
No,
the extent
no,
that we
no, it
can,
was
but
just
if not-
matter of bringing it forward so the planning board knows that I communicated this in a
Right.
public manner, so,
Right, right,
yes.
right. And I think generally, we support the concept, it's just really a matter of timing, and so, anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Okay, Committeeman Adams, thank you.
Okay, Ken, did you distribute the quote? Okay. No, good. If anybody needs it, so
I saw it.
we have a technology quote from Jeff Jewell, as part of our assessment that we did earlier on this year. This is the first step in basically securing and upgrading some of our router technology, the pieces that allow us to utilize the internet in a more secure and faster way. So this covers some basic infrastructure and allows the technology reach to go out to the DPW folks, the DPW office. Okay, it's not the desktop units or computers or anything like that. It's just the infrastructure and wiring, which would give us wireless capability within this room and within the other areas of the firehouse. I wish Joe was here. He heard it the first time. But this would basically be implemented in order to increase our wireless reach, our security, and our speed for the township. So the total is actually $1,500 has been set aside for the wiring. Okay, that's like a not to exceed amount. So the total amount of this quote would be $2,806.99. So I wanted to have a motion.
Can I just ask
Yeah.
one question? This does not include the whole backup thing that we talked about? Because what was a critical component was our backup? Okay,
This
all right.
is going to enable that.
It's going to help that happen.
Yeah.
That's what I
You
wanted to
can't get
know.
there without this.
Right, got it. That's what I was wondering, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Frank, is that within our thresholds? Yeah. Okay, I just want to make sure we're good with that.
How many quotes did you get?
One. It was part of the assessment that
Yeah.
we need more quotes, we need more
I
quotes.
think you need one more, but I could be
That's
wrong.
what I'm asking.
Our ordinance has two floors. Well, we didn't enact the ordinance, right?
I like that.
Can you tell who the attorney is in the room looking for the loophole?
20, actually, the number would be 2625, so actually we're just over by about 100.
Have them discounted.
So
Well, I'll restrict this to that dollar amount.
there you go.
Yes,
That's the way to do it.
I was worried about that, Jim.
I was actually
I
thinking
thought,
that on the way over.
I was worried about that. I think I sent you an email on that.
Well, you did. We're right there with the dollar amount.
Uh-huh.
That's the way to handle it.
So, looking for a
2624?
2624. I'll let Mr. Jewell know. And I believe he's padded the network wiring because he knows my not to exceed method. And I'm sure we'll be able to take that out of that. So I'd like a motion to approve the quote from Jeff Jewell, not to exceed $2,624 to implement the wireless and network capabilities for wireless and DPW access.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Comment. Roll call.
Bailey?
Yes.
Miliani?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
I think you expect me to say yes before you say my name there.
Time and attendance?
We'll table that.
Okay.
Table? Okay.
We don't have the quotes in here.
Okay.
Yeah,
But you're going to get those, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's lower priority, but...
Understood. Okay.
For the next meeting, we should have it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's not, okay, great. Thanks, Jim. Angelo?
Okay. Resolution 2014-33, appointment of Angelo Fales as acting deputy mayor on March 22nd, 2014. Whereas Deputy Mayor Thomas Caleri has agreed to temporarily step down as Deputy Mayor of Greenwich Township for the date of March 22nd, 2014, in order to permit Committeeman Angelo Fales to temporarily assume said office on such date for the purpose of solemnizing marriage for that purpose only. And whereas Mayor Joseph Torriello has authorized Committeeman Angelo Fales as acting Deputy Mayor to solemnize a marriage on said date pursuant to NJSA 37-113, and now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Committee of Township of Greenwich and County of Warren, State of New Jersey, that Committeeman Angelo Fales is thereby appointed Deputy Mayor of Township of Greenwich for the date of March 22nd, 2014, for the purpose of solemnizing a marriage pursuant to NJSA 37-13. Be it further resolved that this resolution take effect immediately. Discussion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Comment? Roll call.
I was going to ask if our township attorney reviewed this, but it sounds like he did.
Sounds like your resolution from 2010.
It's a little more narrow.
No,
Oh, okay.
yes, I didn't do this resolution.
I didn't.
Okay.
Roll call.
Okay. Bailey?
Yes.
Leon?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Moreland?
Yes.
Okay, next. I made a copy of the state economic, I don't know, did you pass that out? I guess you didn't.
I remember seeing it.
All right, well, what I'll do is I'll email it to everybody. And the only other thing with that was that Tom and Mike were supposed to get together. Mike said okay to the 4th for us to get together for a meeting.
Is that the date I just gave?
Yeah. The only thing is what time?
Yes, we were supposed to attend the Warren County
Right,
Economic Development meeting that they have every...
right, and that was the day of the storm.
Just to explore.
Right. And so we'll get together the next time and have it.
I just want to double check my calendar. Then that's the date I gave.
So what's March 4th?
The next meeting, I think.
No, March.
No, I'm sorry, that's just our meeting to
Yeah.
get together.
We're gonna get together and,
What time, I guess, is the question. With Tom,
It has to be in the evening.
all right, can you do this at what time, 6?
Yeah,
7?
6.
Angelo 6, good?
it's fine with me.
That was, all right, so March 4th, 6?
If you want to, I'll email this to everybody, but also there's a map that you can get that's on the New Jersey Economic. I'll email that also to everybody else that you can look up, and you can actually put an address in there. And you can actually see what sections of our town are priority and which are, the different categories that they're in by color. So basically, that's all I have to say about that. So we'll start working on that, and we'll see what we can do to get some business in the town. Next thing is, let me do this emergency squad blue light permits. Okay, can I do all these together?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so to approve the application for blue light permits for Deborah Yerkunis, Zachary Trainer, and Teresa Eisenberg.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Comment? Roll call.
Yes.
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 Okay, prescription drop-off. Last year, we voted to start this program, and I know that there have been issues as far as the logistics with this box. I talked to the chief and took a look at the box, and we're very tight here for places to put things. I just want to remind everybody as to, the value of this drop-off program, the reasons that it's very valuable to have it in this area. The only place where they have one is in Belvedere. The only other place is well into Huntington County. And one of the reasons that we did it was for our water supply. People dump prescriptions into the toilets. It affects our water supply. But the other thing that I come in research to find out is that our teenagers are starting to abuse drugs that are left in the medicine cabinets, and this is a big problem now. And this gives parents the opportunity to drop these things off at our police station and to get them out of the house. If they drop them in the toilet, obviously it's going to be a problem. And my feeling was that I was going to start, going around to Rotary clubs, AARP, senior citizens, and to educate people as to different ways that they can dispose of these things. And to have it here in the town would be a good thing, and certainly would be points for us as a township. So if there's any way that we can, I don't know whether it's a money issue for this camera or if it's exposure to the drugs, I just would like to find out what the problem is with implementing this thing.
Well, we had a conversation with the police chief. It was probably 2 meetings ago, if my memory serves me correctly, and he voiced multiple concerns, not just in terms of spatial issues, but also security, and basically, and the chief is here, he can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was his assessment that the township would be better served without this drug, that in essence it posed more problems than solutions. And I don't doubt the fact that the effort was well intentioned.
Yeah, we didn't look at this. I didn't look at the space situation. And
yeah, no, but I think it's more. I think it's more than a spatial issue. I think that there's all these other issues. It becomes, for lack of a better word, an attractive nuisance, a liability. And then, even when I hear, and again, it's, to do an outreach in Rotary, and then we're attracting folks even outside of Greenwich that have to then become the responsibility of our police force. And they have enough to tend to for our 5,500 residents that I don't know that we need to add, additional things for that. And I know that you I guess, undertook the effort to get this thing through a grant or a donation. As I recall, it didn't cost the taxpayer any money to get this box, and I'm just wondering if there might be a way of donating it to someone else that would be willing up to the task, or, because I took to heart the comments of the police chief last time in terms of the programmatic issues surrounding this. So, I don't know. Yeah.
Chief, do you have any comments? Do you want to restate? I don't know if Angela was present during that time or if it's just been too long, but there's definitely value in that, Angela, as well. And I think there is. It's a good cause, and I'm not saying that it's not. However, it has to. The good has to outweigh the liability and the issues that it might cause for us. But Chief, if you want to just expand a little bit on it.
Can I just ask, Angela, did you know or have you seen if ShopRite's implemented these?
They haven't. No.
They have not?
No.
Okay. I don't know why I thought I saw something. Maybe it was something different.
You have to actually mail things.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very different. Okay.
The concerns that I addressed with you was what you asked with the additional camera put in with it. in the concerns about accessibility for citizens to get there.
Yeah, the stairs.
Not having handicap.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't cost any money. It's not a grant, the DEA
Mm-hmm.
puts it out there. If you want, you just apply for it. So it didn't cost any money, but I think a couple of meetings ago, I did address the what has to be done if you want to. So whichever you want. If you want,
And that's
then-
handicap,
Yeah,
not
I mean,
handicap accessible.
It's not, and you have the means that have to be done if it wants to stay there.
And I had, when I saw those stairs, I had pause about, the
Mhm.
senior citizens, I have mixed feelings myself, I just want people to know that this is something that I really wanted to do, and I feel funny about dropping it. I still want to try to do something as far as educating people about this, but I wanted us to be one of the places where we could do this, so.
Yeah, I had a question. Angela, I don't know if either you or Rich could field it, but does any surrounding township, I mean, what comes to mind in my head is a Phillipsburg size type township, but does any other township have this capability?
No.
Not Berkeley. They
Yeah.
come and go from townships. Basically, you bring it in, you have it, they,
You do it for a while and they move on because it's not a stationary thing,
Plenty of
so that you're not going to attract. Didn't Oxford have it for a while?
quite some time ago.
Maybe we could donate it to like the Phillipsburg Mall or something like that, where they...
I can't donate it. I
Yeah.
give it back to DA.
Yeah, I have to go back, right.
The thing is,
we couldn't
forward it.
Has to be involved.
has to be involved, that's the problem. Even Phil, no one has,
No one.
Belvedere is the only one, and then it's,
Maybe no one wants
So,
I know.
I don't know, is it something we want to act on this evening and potentially?
I say we table it and see if Angela can find another alternative, and that would be at
Yeah.
least rewarding for him that he's worked so hard on it.
Right.
And he can bring an alternative to the table, even if it's something else. It doesn't have to
I
be
mean,
like right away, let's
The only
let
thing I
him
can
work
think
on it.
of is maybe when the fire department moves, if there'd be more room here. I mean, I see it as really,
Well, the only thing is, it's, we're sitting, obviously, we're the chairs on stage.
I mean, I don't know how long we can keep it.
Phil's got space.
Phil's got space. So you think, I don't know, they'll probably be calling soon.
Yeah.
They're supposed to come and inspect it.
Yeah, so we're limited as far as,
So,
I mean, I've looked at every square inch here. I mean, I was thinking about, up in front, but then we have court, and it's too confusing. So,
If you want to table it to the next
We can
meeting,
table it.
Well, and then he could look at,
Yeah, why don't we do
do
that?
some research.
And put it on for March 6th.
If I find something, you want me to look too? I'll look
yeah,
too. Okay.
please,
That makes sense.
okay, that's
Okay.
the only thing I have.
Thank you, Angela.
All right.
Frank?
If I find something, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
A uniform shared services agreement for local public health services, which will be back at the end of March. I asked Tim to see what the last agreement we had in the department was, and I pushed it like 27 years ago. So we're trying to locate it.
Are you saying it's time to update?
Well, they are.
Well, is it like on a 30-year cycle?
Yes.
And I will say, last year, Attorney
Like our
Carney
technology.
had reviewed it, and, they wanted us to review it, and Attorney Carney had gone through it, and he had approved it. However, the county now is, as you can see, they have updated it.
They changed
Because
the
there were
rates.
some changes.
And they removed the insurance coverage limits to now saying whatever the township currently has, rather than set the $5-10 million, whatever it was.
Yes.
So that's to our benefits.
Yes,
Yes.
because then you don't have to go out and get supplemental coverage to make sure your coverage is higher than
Right.
necessary.
And as I recall, there was an issue about mutual indemnification. Has that been included now?
I from the two drafts I saw, I didn't see any changes.
Yeah, we need that.
Okay, let's table until
Yeah, we gotta table that.
review it.
Well,
Yeah.
it's subject to the end of March, but
Yeah, but I would say this, we would need a mutual indemnification, the way that they ask to indemnify us, we indemnify them, they have to indemnify us, otherwise to me it's a deal breaker. It's gotta be mutual.
Public meeting?
Is that, motion to open up for public comment?
I'll make motion.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone wishing to be heard, please come up, state your name, rank and serial number.
Thank you for the, notice speaking, running late, and, I wish I had a cup of coffee too.
You're welcome.
Help yourself.
You're welcome, man.
Help yourself. And there's donuts up
State your
there
name and
too.
address and all that.
I was here last month, Louis Cardabona, Alphaboro, and last month, 4 city people were here, and now we got 5. Slightly redundant, maybe, possibly, but probably just a little bit. It's going to be about the Alphaboro. To start with, how many residents are in town?
5,500 approximately.
5,500?
Mm-hmm.
So, just to update the committee that, I'm here basically on my own. I'm not part of the reservation committee. My position is on Alphaboro now, so I really should be individually. And I want to just, maybe go back and refresh, maybe not over the last meeting of the Express Times article, which was more accurate. I think through discussions with some of the shared service people, that there was some misunderstandings that I just was here last month to clarify. That the FDA article was very accurate in relation to how everything was shown. Since I was supported on this aspect, I came to this council because I really wanted to continue discussing the shared services. Alphaboro, including the past, I think very successful with each other. And the way I see what we have in Alpha is we have something that's worth great value, but we don't have the will now to utilize it for the benefit of the community. I'm doing this myself. We're talking about moving communities to have on the house of the community. Phillipsburg has the school, will have some kind of school. South of us, up in Holland County, they have the school. Now, community schools might be something that a lot of community people might really want to utilize. Maybe they go over to Low Paccon or some other schools because they don't have their own school. But this is going to be an option that I think really would be attractive to communities. I have thought about it this way. When I was going to school and we had a regional high school, we got together really fantastic football teams, wrestling teams, and other sports teams because we had a great pool of people. No pun intended. It's really official governing body here in discussions with the recreation committees and other people. We always think it's a good idea to come to ground. So I'd like to invite anyone in the committee or any of the recreation people to come to Alpha next Tuesday. I think what I'm talking about is the time is not going to be of the essence because, like I said, there's not enough will on the governing body now for us. I think this is a matter of creating minds. People who actually think creatively about this. I had a discussion about a pool that almost failed, similar to Alpha. Alpha's pool has been vacant for about 8 years. This pool was the indoor pool at Raritan Valley College. They were also operating out of Los Angeles, almost closed it. But when they got together, three talented people who really understood the developing the food business plan, putting it together and putting it in operation between that good ground. It's a tremendous opportunity. I talked to our borough engineer today about just the way it stands right now. Would you say the shell of the pool, with everything there is worth maybe $1 million a year? Maybe not so much. And I said, well, 500 or more? He said, yeah, probably. But the way I see it is we have a $500,000 to $1 million worth of assets just sitting there. That we have an estimate of about $175,000 to refurbish, getting them back up and running. But what we need is we need people who really will come together and operate the pool. And that's something that I would like personally to come and discuss with us. I'll tell you that the Hacon officials, they went to their PTA and they said, what do you think? And they were all excited. There's people in the Hacon are excited, and I hope there's people in the community who do. And we need to take that excitement to Alphaboro Council and make it effective so that we have a really good focus back to saving especially for the American Valley College school, I'd like to see the down the road for make the community life, the community asset for everyone to enjoy and operate. Too many people talk about negative things and don't have vision. I saw it, you're talking about vision of your recreational field and stuff. It's great to see that you're going to be moving forward on that. And it will be great to become a
Well, Tom is a liaison to our Recreation Commission, and we do have swimming program within Greenwich Township Recreation, so he could certainly bring it to Rec and ask them for some input on a needs assessment in terms of what our facilities are, when the swim season is, whether it's winter or summer, and, you know, we can definitely explore that and kind of test the waters, again, pardon while we're throwing punch around, to see whether or not,
Holy I can't wait to dive in.
Okay, I think Councilman Carbona really
You always have to
wants
try
a
and
little
make a bigger
bit,
splash.
wants a little bit more than what we're talking about with the swim team. I think he's looking for us to kind of begin to advertise, do memberships, kind of like help support the actual attendance at the pool, and maybe the idea of the rec is a good place to start and get some feedback from them, and maybe but the
It's
issue
gotta be
is
larger
that
than that.
it's got to be larger than that. But Tuesday is sort of like he's asking for Tuesday. What do we see? What Tuesday is like? Do we attend the Alpha Borough meeting to assist? You know.
Is that the borough meeting after
Yes.
the regular schedule Alpha Borough?
At 7 p.m. at the Alpha Municipal Hall.
Is that where you're going to be presenting something on the pool where some people are going to get information on it?
I have a resolution that someone put on the agenda, which was released today, so I think knowing what it says on that resolution is someone has put forward a resolution that was for the pool baby. And that's why I really...
I see.
It really saved this asset. I mean, there's people in the community who are going to come out on Tuesday. Invited Powhatan, one probable Powhatan official will come out. The local PBA who talked to also again today, they wanted to throw in their work, development groups.
We were open to discussion so that they can
That's really
so that they can get the rest of this research done that I said to him yesterday.
Yeah, I had a question. In terms of shared services, you mentioned Phillipsburg has a pool, and Powhatan also has a pool. Lopakon also has a pool. Has there ever been a discussion to combine the services of the pools for maintenance, or, you know, I'm just winging this, but has there ever been a discussion on that topic? I don't know if there's an economic benefit to all the pools to share those resources.
Elaine and I are on the Shared Services Committee, and we're both available next Tuesday, so we will attend the Alpha meeting.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks.
You too.
Thank you, Lou.
Yeah.
Go. It's not too hot, but go for it. Yeah. Anyone else?
What time is that meeting?
Patiently sitting there all night long, right?
You know,
What time is the meeting?
7
you should have
p.m.
blown that sign
You
a little
should
bit
have
more.
said-
We would have pulled you out.
You should have spoke at the first public comment.
Well, that's why I asked, I know asked if that's behind me, because this is the first time I was at the meeting. So he said, no, you speak after. He said the agenda items are in the beginning, and then...
True, but when we see somebody like, you
Yeah.
know, we try to like make a little exception.
Thank you for being patient.
Yes.
Wow.
My name is Rhonda Thomas Booth, and I'm a member of the Women's Studio. I'm the fundraising chair. And this year, both annual 5K, Silverstone and Summer. And I'm here to ask you guys for approval to continue this annual event.
So these are the signs, well, this is not the actual sign, but these are the signs that go up in the community. They're not going to put up as much as they did in the past, because they're trying to reach people through social media.
Did you read the whole?
Right.
And, I started running, so I have some contacts to me trying to like promote the run within other sites, other running sites.
Oh, that's good.
I'm here to let you guys know we are doing it again, and I need your approval first.
Yeah,
So we have a
and
resolution?
It's June 1st. It's
the design says the second, is
No,
that
that's the old
That's
one.
last year,
That's
okay,
last
all
year.
right.
She just brought it as
What kind of sign
a,
it's gonna be?
Yeah, I need to let the mayor see what kind of signs are going in the community.
Yeah, and that, well, because of the sign ordinance, but we dealt with that last year, you're okay with that.
Yeah.
And just so you know, I have a little bit of reluctance to support it this year, because that means I'm probably gonna have to run in it again.
This is true.
I've
did it.
I've run it too, I might have to walk
It's
you.
okay, you did it.
I've run in two already, so,
There's a lot.
yeah, I know, but the course is relatively flat, so it's not, it's kind of kind for us. And I guess, we'll coordinate with the police department again in terms of, having to close Greenwich Street and providing,
Their area that they do their run.
yeah, is that,
It's the same path?
any issues or concerns?
The only thing is we don't close Greenwich Street.
You're right.
But, yeah.
Yes. I think last time I had to wait there for a second, which was good, because I got to catch my breath, and so it was,
Really?
yeah, and I had to look to the lieutenant like, CPR, right, because it was almost towards the end, so, but yeah, I will happily make a motion for Greenwich Township Committee to support the Stinger 5K run scheduled for June 1st, 2014,
I
And to
second.
be in it.
and to be in it maybe. I'll be in it. I'll
And how about sponsorship?
If you look, I've always done it, yes.
Yeah, and I will tell you this, for all of the discussion about social media, I have my own Facebook page, and I will put it on there and advertise and get the word out as well, so, and we will, by that point in time, we will also be able to put it on our newly improved township
Website.
webpage.
Yeah.
So-
And then we went 57.
So anyway, that motion has been made,
And I seconded.
comment,
Wayne has seconded.
roll call.
Favors?
Yes.
Miliano?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Lloyd?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank
for being
you.
patient.
And thank
Good
you
luck
for,
when you're first year in doing this.
Thank you, I'll need it.
and thank you for volunteering your service.
Yes,
Thank you.
so much.
And your patience.
I'm sure when you have it.
Okay.
Well, this is a break for her, right?
So you got to watch 5 tonight, right? Any other, old business, new business? Oh,
Motion to close public comment.
I'll second it. Aye. Any, need to discuss old business and new business besides the mold cleanup and repair? Go ahead.
I was tasked to get some quotes for downstairs, and I met with Yeager's Flooring and Comfort Carpet.
Country?
Did you pick out a nice mauve?
Fuchsia.
It's not green like the blinds, is it?
I have to be honest with you, the
How about
grade of
pink?
carpets, which it's a mix. I have a price quote, they're actually, it's $32.50,
They're gonna go.
$3,000
$3,250.
versus a,
However, the $3,250 Comfort Carpet has a better grade of carpet. It's a higher grade of carpet, and they have put in a Unity, or it's an Inspiration, which is, when you first walk in the door of the police department, it's a different grade of carpet, and it's almost like an indoor-outdoor, where it will pick up, like, mud and dirt and stuff as you walk in. But then the rest will be, all done, because that all has to be ripped up, because that's all been infected with the mold. I'm going with the darkest carpet I can get, because I have a really dark gray down there.
And that's still not enough.
Brown, and it's bad, so black says nothing, and we're gonna, so it's the police department, the two offices, and then where the door breaks over where the lobby area is at the
Mhm.
bottom of the steps, because that's terrible. So it's $32.50.
That
Did you
is,
give the police chief swatches? Did he get to see the color?
Yes,
Is he okay with it?
we will work on that together, the two of us, but, you know, huh? Yeah, and, you know,
is that to rip up and move
everything,
and put
everything.
down?
And the only thing that they're asking is that when, you know, it comes time to do this, they're just going to need some assistance with DPW that day. DPW, you know, this is downstairs.
Oh, downstairs, I'm sorry.
But DPW would be there that, they're working to.
Move their desks.
You know, I need some,
What if they find additional mold, or so they rip up the carpets, do they remediate the mold at that point?
It's
topical.
it's
the glue.
it's the matting under the carpet. So once they've ripped up that carpet, the carpet's gone, and then they're going to put on a new layer of glue,
Mhm.
and then they're going to glue the carpet on. So
Yeah, but the point is, are they going to kill the mold first that's there, or are we going to now have mold growing on the new glue?
Growing in the glue.
I think we need to rip up and scrape,
And wait,
and then wait and disinfect or do something. I don't think we should do it all at once.
When they do a bleach solution, which is a 10% bleach solution where they'll spray it, let it dry,
Yeah,
and then come in and do it.
we may have to go a day or two without carpet.
I think he'll work with you on that.
how would you
Okay.
fix
Okay,
it?
Chief?
I started fixing
So I'll have them look at that and just give me, how much do you think that will cost?
A pump sprayer full of, with a 10% bleach
$50.
solution, $50.
All right.
Not to exceed,
So we'll
What do
do
you-
not
what do you
to
got, Chief?
exceed.
I'll bring my pump sprayer over.
Not to exceed 100.
Yeah.
50, it's 51.50.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just won't have carpet now.
Can you live without carpet for a couple of days?
one day.
And
I got, there's one other thing, but I don't think we did bring up right now with it, regarding the person down there, with the spring.
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah,
we got about a
We'll chat with it briefly
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, I mean, I can have, is it Jason?
Jared.
Jared, I mean, we can talk with him as to what, you know, he would recommend to put down after we rip up the carpet.
And can we tell them they can have a contract if they throw in new blinds up here and get rid of these green things? I know, but they're hideous.
You're ugly. You're ugly.
Oh, they are beautiful guys.
They look nice.
Leave it up for
It's
now.
green
You're
for
saving money.
Greenwich.
I vote no, we're saving money.
I'm coming down Robertson for
If you want
free.
the color to change, you're going to come in here
There
and color it
was, there
yourself.
was draperies there, that's the Revolutionary War.
Like the
That's what I
rest
Okay,
of
come on, can we can finish?
All right,
this?
anything else?
It's
Anything else?
20 to 11.
And we, okay, the 3250 will, can have a motion to award this,
Like not to exceed
So it's the
3,500.
3250 and then, with the additional bleach
Yeah.
solution, not to exceed 100.
So,
Multiple quotes?
Yes, I did.
she said that if you were paying attention.
Yeah, we've got,
So can I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Comment? Roll call?
Yes.
Adams.
Oh, he's going out of order.
Why?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Any other comment? A motion to adjourn the meeting?
motion.
So, wait.
I have a comment.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Angelo.
Okay, I just have a general statement to make. I have never enjoyed meetings so much.
Oh, you're funny.
And, you know, I've been going to meetings, you know, for years, taping them and everything. And,
And we've never enjoyed having you so much, Angelo.
treating me with respect, and I just want to say, you know, you've been doing this thing, you've targeted what you're going to do now in the future, you know, not much said about the past, and I appreciate everything, and I think we're going to do big things.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad.
Steps.
Thank you, guys.
I just had this conferencing capabilities here.
Yeah.
Did you put that on there for like, just,
No, I'm sorry, James Adams, Jimmy Adams,
Jimmy added that, did he?
Said that.
Jimmy added that?
We have it already.
Jimmy wanted to ask you to check with our current,
He wants me to contact Verizon and see if they...
Okay, table it to the 6th.
for all the, yeah, for all the months.
For,
That's fine. So, that's fine.
Okay,
Anything
March
else?
6th.
no.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion adjourned. 10 minutes?
When did you ever use that?
I just
Tonight
felt
you
like,
decided to
I
do
felt like
it.
doing it tonight.
When exactly is the meeting with Lorraine? It's
8:30 Tuesday morning.
8:30, okay.
Yes.
I wasn't sure. if it was-
Yeah, I put it in my
It was
calendar
Tuesday,
already.
Wednesday, I'm thinking, no, Tuesday.
No,
8:30
Tuesday.
or 9, okay.
Tuesday's my better day.
Tuesday is
We went too long tonight.
We did. You were laughing too much.
It's gotta be boring.
Yeah, exactly.